Hokage I can fully level up with one click. Chapter 21-40. Chapter 21 The 7 Ninja Swordsmen. Yes, it's a corpse. Moonlight Hayate almost split his eye sockets, looking at the Konoha ninja who was so close, facing his own eyes, that he couldn't die any longer. As soon as his feet shook, there was an inexplicable wetness and hotness, making his pants gloriously wet. The smell of urine made the surrounding Konoha ninjas vigilant, and looked at Moonlight Hayate with a hint of disgust. Of course, Moonlight Hayate can't be blamed either. The first time he went to the battlefield, he experienced Anbu's pursuit, Chinyu's coercion and teasing, and now he is staring at the corpse. Not being frightened to death, which is already good. One after another figure, flashing in all directions. The village of Kurigakure, after learning that the Kumogakure attack on the pass had failed, immediately mobilized its troops and planned to conduct a second wave of attacks. In their eyes, there are only 2 possibilities for the Konoha ninjas to withstand the first wave. One pays a heavy price. To have powerful ninjas is a branch of Jinchuriki column. When they saw Konoha, Namikaze Minato, known as Yellow Flash, left the so-called important pass, only a dozen or so Konoha ninjas remained. For Kurigakure, it's all about being defenseless. So, from the very beginning, they used the trick of adjusting the tiger and leaving the mountain. Use some normal ninja as bait to lure Namikaze Minato away. Then, mobilize the elite to raid the pass. They had thought that Namikaze Minato would not be easily led away. However, the current results were beyond their expectations. Barrier is broken, they will be able to drive in and attack Konoha's rear. At that time, Konoha will be disrupted by the enemy on both sides, and the balance of the 3 major games will be broken first. Most importantly, this time, in order to make the mission go smoothly, the ninjas sent by Kurigakure village are not as strong as the Kumogakure AB group. But the one who took the lead was 2 of the 7 people of the ninja swordsmen who made the ninja world terrified. As a product of the blood fog, the 7 people of the ninja sword are all brutal elites killed in the blood sea. In the face of one, there are only 12 or 3 people left, but they are all within reach. Alert, everyone cheered me up, this time it's an incredible existence. Azuki Kingwu looked at the 2 ninjas who took the lead, his face turned pale. The 7 ninja swordsmen, Tsukazan Fuguki. The 7 ninja swordsmen, Kurosuke Rai Kiba. With the 2 names falling, all the Konoha ninjas could not help but gasp. Behind them, 50 Kurigakure elites followed. Tsukazan is more than 2 meters tall, with a fat body and a seemingly honest appearance. However, in the village of Kurigakure, none of the ninjas who came out of the Age of Blood Fog were not psychological changes. This is a ruthless character that even his companions can betray for profit. As for Kurosuke Rai Kiba, he is thin, with black hair, wearing a black robe, 2 sharp blades in both hands and electric light flowing. Chimpanzee Yuhi's blood tickled down the blade. The dark whistle just now was obviously his killer. Hee, it's all trash, especially the kid over there who peed his pants. Rai Kiba laughed playfully. Facing such an opponent, for them who have always been bloodthirsty, there is no challenge at all. Okay, don't forget that there is another tricky Namikaze Minato. We will destroy this pass as soon as possible. Even if he rushes back after the incident, it will not help. Tsukazan looked around coldly. Chapter 22 Rasengan's Violence. On the huge ruins, Kurigakure, several times the size of Konoha, stared at everything in front of him. It made the atmosphere in the field inexplicably depressed. Especially looking at the lead, Tsukazan and Rai Kiba of the 7 ninja swordsmen. The heart seemed to be clenched tightly by an invisible big hand. Hurry up and let Chinyu come out to deal with them, otherwise we will all die. Moonlight Hayate hurriedly got up on the ground. Chinyu, Late Kiba raised his brows and smiled playfully. Which character is this? Why haven't I heard of it? It's not going to be rushed to the doctor, and I'm going to find someone to fool us. However, we Kurigakure and Kumogakure are different, we are scared. As soon as these words fell, unbridled laughter immediately erupted in the arena. A playful smile appeared on Sukazan's on his cheeks, and said, "Okay, let's not scare them, just get rid of them quickly." However, it's really surprising that this kind of little beauty is also on this front line. Wait a while and give her to me, and you can deal with the others. Azuki Yugao's pretty face turned pale. Facing Sukazan's words, she was completely unexpected. Yugao, I'll stop them in a while. You go to the cave and inform Chinyu. Now that Lord Minato is not here, only he can save us. Azuki Kingwu shouted sharply. Brothers, open the barrier immediately. The rest of the Konoha ninjas were already tense. Facing Azuki Kingwu's order, without any hesitation, Hanseal immediately planned to open the barrier. It's too late to shoot now. Sukazan gave a grim smile. A white fog blew up without warning and instantly surrounded the entire battlefield. Without any bells and whistles, Sukazan took the lead. The seemingly fat body, but the movements under his feet are extremely flexible, spanning more than 10 meters in the blink of an eye, and appearing in front of Azuki Yugao first. It's Kurigakure village, the best silent killing technique. Azuki Kingwu's face changed dramatically. Feeling the air around him, he shouted anxiously, "Yugao, be careful." Haha, it's too late to think about being careful now. Sukazan laughed unbridled. I want this woman. The fog, Azuki Yugao's expression turned pale, and he hurriedly wanted to dodge. It's a pity that there is no way to hide when you can't see your fingers. However, just as the color of despair climbed up her face, the next moment a dazzling blue sphere like a starry sky passed by her side. A slight wave of air stirred up the fog in the sky, and immediately revealed Sukazan's joking expression. However, after seeing the oncoming Rasengan, his smile instantly stiffened. Before he could think about it, he hurriedly pulled out the shark muscle he was carrying with his backhand, and without any hesitation, laid it directly in front of his chest. Boom! Rasengan slammed into the shark muscle instantly. The huge impact force surged out like a frenzy. Boom! A thunderous explosion resounded suddenly. The resulting hurricane instantly dissipated the surrounding fog. Sukazan's huge body flew upside down like a cannonball. Along the way, some Kurigakure who rushed out were directly smashed and flew out. In the end, he slammed heavily on a big tree 100 meters away, and barely stopped his figure. However, under the huge impact, the tree was also cut off in the middle. The violent scene made everyone's expressions stiff, even Lei Kiba. About Sukazan's strength. And under the silent killing technique, their Kurigakure is even more like a duck to water. Sukazan was ambushed at the crucial moment and succeeded. This was beyond his expectations. Chapter 23 Big Ball Rasengan. Enemy attack, hurry up to defend. Don't mess up, this kind of attack is not a big problem for Sukazan, remove the silent killing technique. Seeing the tree that was cut in the middle, Kurosuke Rai Kiba shouted in a hurry. The fog shrouded around it quickly dissipated. Originally known as Kurigakure, the strongest silent killing technique, but now it is reversed, which is convenient for the enemy. If this matter gets out, it will definitely bring shame to the village of Kurigakure. The fog cleared, Konoha's ninjas were equally flustered, but when they saw Sukazan lying in the ruins, whose life and death were unknown. There are traces of destruction left on the ground, and a trace of joy appeared on his face. Yes, it's Chinyu, he must have shot. With him, we will surely be saved. Idiot, don't forget, hundreds of Kumogakure were killed by Chinyu, and even the AB group was forced back by him. Looking at the panicked Konoha ninjas, they all showed joy. Those Kurigakure couldn't help changing. Lord Rai-Kiba, are we going to retreat? A Kurigakure couldn't hold back. However, as soon as the words fell, Rai-Kiba swung the knife out with his backhand. PFF'd. The huge head flew up, and the blood splashed down, giving people a shocking feeling. Disturb the military, court death. Rai-Kiba seemed to have done an ordinary thing. After the corpse was smashed to the ground, he said sharply, "The guy who hides his head and shows his tail, get out if you have the guts." "Are you looking for me?" Chinyu walked out slowly. Glancing at Azuki Yugao, he said, "My little girlfriend, no one can make fun of her. Those who spoke badly, are dead." Bad boy. Kurosuke Rai-Kiba was stunned for a moment, then he laughed uncontrollably. "I thought who attacked us, but it turned out to be just a Konoha Chunin. Tsukazan, don't pretend to be dead, you have shark muscles, you don't even think about it. Can't take much damage." "Hee, Rai-Kiba, can't you keep a secret for me? This will scare away Konoha's hero." Tsukazan, who was lying in the rubble, stood up shaking his body. The shark muscle in his hand, which was originally bandaged, has been completely exposed. Looking at the ferocious blade, people have an inexplicable feeling of suffocation. "Dad, is this the 7 ninja swords in Kurigakure?" Azuki Yugao couldn't care less about the battle of words now. Azuki Kangwoo nodded and said with a solemn expression, "Chin-yu, be careful. According to the information, the ninja sword in Tsukazan's hand, called Shark Muscle, has the characteristics of predatory chakra. Your attack just now is probably out of 10, absorbed by it." Quote. "However, Chin-yu, how did you learn the Rasengan from Lord Minato?" In the Konoha people's ninja village, who doesn't know Namikaze Minato's ninjutsu? "Did you mean Rasengan?" Chin-yu looked at the shark muscle and smiled knowingly. "That's what I just learned. Just now, I was thinking about how to solve the lack of blue. I didn't expect to ignore the existence of the shark muscle. I just happened to be short of a weapon." A small voice swept away from the field. Whether it was Konoha or Kurigakure, they all looked at each other. "Is this a blatant robbery?" "Ha, boy, this is the funniest joke I've ever heard." Tsukazan laughed recklessly. "I tell you, your attack just now had a good impact, but those chakras were completely plundered by the shark muscles. If I said that with your heroic blow just now, all the chakras became my possessions, what would your expression be?" "Fell." Tsukazan showed off and let the shark muscle feed back the chakra to him. Looking at this scene, many eyes in the field fell on Chin-yu. "It seems that you enjoy my chakra very much." Chin-yu smiled warmly. "However, I hope you can wait a while and laugh." The inexplicable speech made people startled. The next moment, the thunder arc on Chin-yu's body skyrocketed, and the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode unfolded instantly, turning into a thunder light. Almost at the same time, a flash of lightning flashed, and Chin-yu had appeared behind Tsukazan. The violent scene made people's nerves suddenly tense. "Tsukazan, be careful," Rai-Kiba hurriedly reminded. Tsukazan's response was not slow. His fat body did not appear to be slow at all, and he clenched the shark muscle in his hand, intending to block again. However, when he entered the scene, his pupils suddenly contracted. Big Ball Rasengan. The 5 fingers of Chin-yu's right hand were tense, like a chakra galloping, pouring frantically into his hand. Rasengan with a diameter of millimeters condensed in an instant. The violent gesture displayed, I took a photo directly to Tsukazan. Boom. Suddenly, a thunderous explosion sounded. Chakra airflow, like a hurricane, devoured Tsukazan and the shark muscle in an instant. The huge impact force exploded in an instant. Tsukazan, who bore the brunt, flew backwards like a cannonball with Big Ball Rasengan. The ground along the way also pulled out a shocking gully. All the trees collapsed suddenly, and finally hit the rock wall thousands of meters away. Boom! The rock wall shattered with a bang, and cracks like spider webs quickly spread open. The surging air waves broke the surrounding trees. Sukazan-sama, my lord, was shot up again. Looking at Sukazan, who was shot up again, all the Kurigakure couldn't help laughing. The attack this time was at least 10 times stronger than before. Kurosuke Kiba's face turned ashen and said, Sukazan, hurry up, you have shark muscles around you, this kind of attack can't hurt you at all. The hurried voices echoed in the forest. Unfortunately, as the words faded, Sukazan, who was lying in the rubble this time, did not stand up. Just as Lake Kiba couldn't hold his breath, a thunderlight appeared on the ruins without warning. It's that kid, that's really fast. When did such a powerful person appear in Konoha? His speed, I'm afraid he's not as aggressive as Konoha Yellow Flash. Of Kurigakure in the field changed. Originally, in their eyes, this was a one-sided war of catching turtles in a urn. But the boy who suddenly appeared in front of him turned everything upside down. I'm sorry, he seems to have been killed by chakra. Chinyu smiled warmly, and picked up the mercurial mussel that fell to the ground. Lake Kiba, who was watching this scene, flashed a hint of joy in the depths of his pupils. There is a flaw, Raiden Thunder-style thunder. Lake Kiba instantly raised the thunder knife in his hand. Under the infusion of chakra, it points directly to the sky. The arc of thunder circulated, colliding with Tianlei, and a light blue light of lightning struck Chinyu's body in an instant. As one of the 7 ninja knives, it is clear that these 7 knives have their own characteristics. Among them, the shark muscle is definitely the most difficult existence to tame in the wild. Chapter 24, the first use, a little hands-on. Boom! At the same time, Lake Kiba took the lead and collided with the thunder knives with both hands. Thunder arcs shot up into the sky. The thunder that was accumulated in the clouds was pulled. In an instant, it turned into 7 or 8 falling thunders, and slashed Chinyu straight away. The speed of thunder came in an instant, looking at Chinyu, who was completely blocked by the 7 or 8 thunderbolts. Those Kurigakure. It's time to try the knife. Chinyu smiled warmly. The shark muscle in his hand slashed toward the sky. At the moment when the ferocious giant mouth opened, the thunderlight in the sky was directly smashed by a knife. Boom! The thunder exploded, and there were arcs splashing. The violent scene made Lake Kiba's face change drastically. It's impossible, why didn't this shark muscle attack you? As one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Lake Kiba knew very well that the wildness of the shark muscle was enough to counteract anyone who wanted to control him. Even if you have a strong strength, you should be backlashed by the first contact. Now Chinyu can use the shark muscle casually, which is completely beyond his control. It's even weirder than his son now. Chinfeng raised his head suddenly, and under the 9-tomo Sharingan, even a tailed beast could easily be subdued, not to mention a mere shark muscle. I feel that the little chakra that passed by in the thunder and lightning just now feeds back to myself. Casting the big ball Rasengan in the body, the slightly weaker chakra obviously had a little more. It's a little bit less, but it's a really good weapon. Chinyu looked at Lake Kiba and said, if you have 7 ninja knives, and you don't even have ninja knives, what would you call them? Damn, how dare you hit us with the idea of forbearance. Lake Kiba's face sank, and he said, I finally know who you are, and you dare to speak so loudly. Spooky Sharingan, and super fast, you are the king of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Shisui. Chinyu couldn't help but flip through Byakugan. Do not. It should be said that everyone in the field couldn't help but turn around. Lord Rai Kiba, you seem to be mistaken. Uchiha Shisui is called Shunshi Shisui, and he is best at Shunshi, and Sharingan does not match this teenager in terms of age. Shut up, you don't speak, no one thinks you're dumb, there's absolutely nothing wrong with Mr. Lake Kiba saying it's shisui in the blink of an eye. Lake Kiba's cheeks were shaking, looking at Chinyu who suddenly appeared in the distance. He said sharply, "Boy, who are you?" "Who am I?" Chinyu smiled warmly. "It's the one who killed you." When the words fell, the thunderlight on Chinyu's body soared, and he took a step, and the whole person was like a thunder, and he rushed out. "Come on, use all defensive ninjutsu for me," Lake Kiba roared. Since becoming a group of 7 ninja swordsmen, when have they been despised like this? Around 30 or 40 Kurigaker, some of them, quickly hand seal up. As the handprints flew and fell, Chakra shouted in unison when he was agitated. Sweeten, water style, wall. One side of the wall of water quickly spewed out all around in an instant, forming a 100-meter-sized defensive line. The remaining Kurigaker, looking at each other, were obviously the personal guards under the command of Lake Kiba. As the spell seal fell, a large amount of river water was spit out between the mouths. Sweeten, water style, great waterfall technique. One after another, the rivers rushed out, and they quickly rolled back around when they were isolated by the water wall. A giant wave was formed, which was photographed head-on, and instantly flooded the terrain in a radius of thousands of meters. Azuki Kangwu and the others had already reacted and activated the barrier of the station to keep the river water out. Kurigaker, who had changed the terrain for a few seconds, and the Konoha ninja present, his face was solemn. In the land of water, the ninjas who came out of the blood mist are really not comparable to other ninja villages. Whether it is chakra volume or teamwork, the timing is very accurate. If they are matched, I am afraid they will lose without a doubt. "Boy, where are you running? You're not afraid." Lake Kiba gave a grim smile. The thunder knife in his hand was suddenly raised high, swaying the backlog of thunder in the sky. Boom! A blue thunder light fell from the sky. It fell into the river in an instant, and the crackling thunder light, the moment it encountered the water, the power instantly soared. Like arcs as thick as the mouth of a bull, Jong Kiba swept away like a claws. The expressions of Azuki Kangwu and others changed drastically, and they shouted anxiously, "Increase the output of chakra, don't let the barrier be broken." When the barrier opened, the light shined. However, the incoming arc was still like a heavy whip, hitting the barrier, causing it to vibrate violently. "Haha, if you can't hide, then I will break the barrier and make you wag your tail." Lake Kiba laughed horribly. Under the electric light of the lightning blade in his hand, the lightning arc accumulated in the cloud layer also became manic. One after another, the thunder fell like a torrential rain, falling madly. After the enhancement of water, it turned into 7 or 8 thunder lights, and quickly hit the barrier supported by Azuki Kangwu and others. "Senior Azuki, we won't be able to sustain this kind of attack for long, hurry up and think of a way." A Chunin couldn't hold his breath. They do not need to face the attack directly, but continue to send out chakra to enhance the defense of the enchantment. For them, the consumption is also not small. The sweat dripping down his cheeks smashed to the ground drop by drop. "Come on, don't hold back, or we'll all die." Azuki Kangwu suddenly spoke up. His face turned pale, looking at the distant gaze, full of horror. Everyone's nerves suddenly tense. He quickly looked up and followed his gaze. Chinyu was in midair, and the Rasengan in his hand glowed a purple-blue color. One after another thunder arcs circulated, ravaging the surrounding space. An indescribably dangerous smell was born from the heart. "I'm sorry, it was the first time I used it, I was a bit novice, and I wasted a little time. Now I'm praying for you." Chinyu smiled warmly. The Raiden Thunder-style Rasengan in his hand was thrown out instantly. PFF'd. The air seemed to be torn apart, and under the raging thunder, it was like a meteorite falling from the sky directly into the water below. Boom. The crazy backlog of thunderlight exploded in an instant. Morphology compressed to ultimate, plus pervasive lightning properties. One after another, the lightning rods as small as the hair of a cow became like lightning rod bombs under the powerful explosive force of Rasengan. With the help of the strong conductivity of water, the area changed by Kurigakure instantly became a weapon in Chinyu's hands. Chapter 25 Three Balls Solve a War. Boom. The sound of thunder shook the sky, giving people a feeling of tearing the eardrums. The blue electric light illuminated the whole world and took away everyone's vision. The violent explosive force instantly penetrated the water shield wall composed of dozens of Kurigakure. One after another, slender lightning rods like hairs pierced their bodies directly. Powerful current volts, coupled with fierce shredding and destructive power. The structure of the entire body was shattered in an instant. The next moment, the sound exploded into a blood mist and merged into the seawater. Dozens of Kurigakure turned into blood mist at the same time, and this scene almost made people's eyes split open. Only thing that makes people feel lucky is that Raiden, Thunder style, Rasengan mainly attacks Kurigakure. Otherwise, Konoha's four-sided barrier alone might be instantly pierced. The river water that has lost the support of chakra is difficult to maintain its original state. The next moment it collapsed on the ground and passed away directly. Everything was restored to its original state. The ruins that had fought against Kumogakure had a huge pit with a diameter of several hundred meters. On the edge of the deep pit, there are countless potholes and small holes. These are the puncture marks left by the lightning rod. Two thunder knives were inserted obliquely in the ruins. As for those Kurigakure, they had already turned into flesh and blood and washed away with the river water. Konoha ninja who witnessed this scene had already dropped his jaw in shock. Only been half a day since the Kumogakure attack not long ago. Last time a Raiden Thunder style Kirin killed hundreds of Kumogakure. Now encountering dozens of Kurigakure, a Raiden Thunder style Rasengan has once again killed it. With such an understatement, the two waves of attacks disintegrated. Is this still war? Chinyu landed in the ruins, watching the electric arcs circulating on the two thunder knives, constantly seeping into the soil. A playful smile appeared on his face. Late Kiba, you are the only one left now, why can't you escape? Where did your confidence go? Chinyu said. A pale hand protruded from the soil of the ruins, and one caught the thunder knife. Kiba, whose clothes were tattered and covered in blood. As soon as he appeared, without any hesitation, he roared hideously. You bastard, I fought with you. Dormant in Lake Kiba's body, poured into Lei Dao frantically. Young man with cage-level strength, the only thing he could do was to fight a bloody path. Good chakra, I just happened to be short of blue. Chinyu smiled even more. With the backhand, take out the shark muscle sucked in the back. Without any bells and whistles, he headed towards Lake Kiba. Tear. There was a sound of cloth tearing, and the chakra, which was frantically pouring out of Lake Kiba's body, was bitten away by the shark muscle in an instant. After losing chakra's thunder knife, the flashing thunder light only lasted for a moment, and then annihilated between heaven and earth. The sharp thorns of the shark muscle were like dozens of sharp knives, instantly severing his chest. The blood splashed and the white bones pierced, giving people a shocking feeling. The violent scene made Lake Kiba stunned. As a group of 7 ninja knives, he never imagined that he would eventually die on the ninja knives. You are definitely not unknown, who are you? Lake Kiba said intermittently. The one who killed you. Chinyu said with a playful smile. Dead man, you have no right to know my name. You. Lake Kiba spit out a mouthful of blood, and finally died out of breath, fell to the ground and died. With the dust stirring, a group of lost Konoha ninjas were able to react. Chinyu put away the thunder knife with his backhand and said, I'll leave it to you here. If not, I'll go back and rest. Abandoning these words, Chinyu seemed to have done something irrelevant. On the other hand, Namikaze Minato and the others rushed to the place where Kurigakure was found dozens of kilometers away. Some hard searching, I finally came across a few Kurigakure. PFF'd. The kunai in Namikaze Minato's hand slashed the throat of the last Kurigakure in an instant. Seeing Kurigakure, who fell to the ground, died of anger, his expression sank. Master Minato, this is also a chunin. According to the traces, there should be hundreds of Kurigakure here, but now we have only encountered 8 chunin. After looking at the dead Kurigakure on the ground, Anufeng couldn't hold back his breath. No, I'm afraid this is a trick. Namikaze Minato's expression suddenly changed. Couldn't help but startled and said, Ms. Minato, you mean that Kurigakure has the intention to lead our main force and send someone to attack the stronghold? However, there is Chinyu in the stronghold, so we don't have to worry too much. After seeing the first battle of Kumogakure with his own eyes, Inufeng and other Konoha ninjas, Chinyu, for them, have a full sense of security. No, Chinyu just fought a battle, his strength is very good, but I'm still a little worried. Namikaze Minato said with a worried face, here is my Hiraishin kunai, you take it, what's the matter, activate with chakra and I'll be there right away. I'll go back to the base first and see if Kurigakure has done anything. Those words, Namikaze Minato instantly disappeared like a ghost out of thin air. Hiraishin magic mark left along the way, Namikaze Minato finally appeared inside the stronghold after several jumps. Be careful, there is an enemy attack. Azuki Kingwu shouted in a hurry. One after another kunai roared towards Namikaze Minato in an instant. The violent scene made Namikaze Minato startled at first, but disappeared again and appeared beside Azuki Kingwu. He was about to pat him on the shoulder to signal his reassurance, but when he entered the huge pit, his pupils shrunk suddenly. Konoha ninja present couldn't help but stunned when he saw this familiar space ninjutsu. It's Mr. Minato. Azuki Kingwu came back to his senses, looked at Namikaze Minato who was full of shock, a hint of pride appeared on his face, and said, Master Minato, you missed it again. Not long after you left, Kurigakure led a sneak attack, with a total of 40 or 50 people, led by Tsukazan Fuguki and Kurosuke Lei Kiba among the 7 people of Kurigakure. You didn't see that as soon as Chinyu came out, a Rasengan smashed Tsukazan into the air. Then, Tsukazan stood up nonchalantly, and Chinyu added another oversized Rasengan to crush him to death. Then, Lei Kiba asked Kurigakure to change the terrain, and Chinyu used a Raiden Thunder-style Rasengan to blow them into blood mist with one move. Azuki Kingwu, who was chattering and spitting stars flying everywhere. Azuki Yugao glared at him and said, Master Minato, don't take offense, my father's vulgar description. Chinyu confronted Kurigakure just now. He just used 4 moves to get rid of them. According to my understanding, the first move is Minato-sama's Rasengan, the second is a super large Rasengan, and the third is a Rasengan with the Thunder attribute nature transformation. When Chinyu used up his 3 moves, only the seriously injured Kurosuke Lei Kiba was left on the battlefield, but Chinyu killed him with his shark muscle when he was desperate. Hearing this explanation, Namikaze Minato was stunned. As for the power of Rasengan, he is very clear that it is a ninjutsu. From his point of view, this has been developed to the ultimate. But I never imagined that as soon as it was taught to others, people would use it in different ways. Moreover, 3 balls solved a war, which is too shocking. Chapter 26 Konoha Reinforcement _ Azuki, where is Chinyu? Namikaze Minato said anxiously. At the beginning, he was still doubting Chinyu's talent for learning ninjutsu. The talent that is present at the moment is more than just being able to learn Rasengan in an instant. He also refined his original form changes to ultimate, but he did not expect Chinyu to not only improve his form to a higher level. It also incorporates property attribute changes. Namikaze Minato would never believe it if anyone saw it with their own eyes. Lord Minato, Chinyu is resting in the cave. Azuki Kingwu was stunned for a moment. When had he seen Namikaze Minato, who is hailed as Konoha's most likely fourth-generation Hokage, would be so gaff? I'll go back when I go. Namikaze Minato dropped these words, directly cast the Hiraishin technique, and disappeared in place. In the cave, Chinyu just stretched his waist, his expression condensed, and the 5 fingers of his right hand were slightly bent. Chakra infused frantically, and instantly condensed into a Rasengan. Without any bells and whistles, he smashed directly behind him. As soon as Namikaze Minato appeared, he saw Rasengan, who was rapidly dilating in his pupils. His expression changed, and he hurriedly jumped in time and space again, appearing 7 or 8 meters away. I didn't expect you to keep so many Hiraishin spells. Chinyu scattered the Rasengan in his hands. Namikaze Minato smiled helplessly. You kid is really pervert. Not only did you learn Rasengan, but you also honed the transformation to a higher level, and even integrated the nature transformation into one. Do you want to learn? Chinyu smiled playfully. Namikaze Minato shook his head and said, forget it, I've been thinking about it for so long, but I can't retrain Rasengan into the ultimate form. It seems that it is more suitable for you. However, I still know some common ninjutsu. Do you want to learn it? Chinyu did not reject this suggestion. Since he could not learn the technique of Hiraishin for the time being, it would not be a bad thing to temporarily master other ninjutsu techniques. In a flash, 3 days have passed. Futon Wind Style Daitapa Great Breakthrough. Quote. Futon Wind Style chakra in Chinyu's mouth swelled suddenly, and the next moment he swallowed it. The hurricane was like a tidal wave, turning into a wind blade after another, with a stern sound of breaking the air, and instantly cut off the trees along the way in the blink of an eye. Directly emptied the forest in front of this clearing. Pervert, you will soon learn Futon Wind Style. Namikaze Minato shook his head helplessly. Back then, it took him 3 days to learn this ninjutsu. Now Chinyu only spent half a day. This is too shocking. Of course, Chinyu deliberately created it for a long time. Otherwise, let Namikaze Minato know that he has learned this ninjutsu, but he will be full level in an instant. I'm afraid even the jaw dropped in shock. Ding dong, detected the Futon Wind Style chakra attribute in the host body, whether it is full level with 1 click. Yes, Chinyu hurriedly ordered. In the past 3 days, in addition to learning some basic ninjutsu, he also delved into various attribute changes. In addition to Futon Wind Style, there are Kaiden Fire Style and Suiten Water Style. Various Rasengans have already been developed by Chinyu. However, in order to avoid being too shocking, Chinyu did not show it. Congratulations to the host, the Futon Wind Style chakra attribute has changed to full level. Congratulations to the host, activate the Futon Wind Style Rasengan Shuriken to full level. Hearing the familiar sound of the system, Chinyu smiled knowingly. Chinyu, Lord Minato, Konoha's reinforcements have arrived. Azuki Yugao glanced at Chinyu. A hint of worry flashed in his pupils. Konoha's reinforcements. Chinyu smiled warmly. Do you want to see me by name? Looks like a bit of a bad visitor. WDM Minato's expression changed slightly. He stayed here for 3 days, originally receiving the task of guarding the pass by Konoha. Originally, after discovering Chinyu's existence, he could leave early. However, for the sake of Chinyu, he still decided to stay. Chinyu, wait a moment, I'll come out with something. Namikaze Minato reminded. For Konoha's top executives, whether or not the ignorant way of doing things will change with the appearance of Chinyu. Namikaze Minato doesn't dare to gamble. Having seen with his own eyes, Chinyu's ability to learn against the sky. Namikaze Minato has classified it as a special Sharingan, sake, with a powerful ninjutsu copy ability, and extension ability. Only then can he learn the ninjutsu he taught in a short period of time. 3 days ago, he secretly passed this matter back to the 3 generations of Hokage. Now that Konoha has reinforcements arriving, Namikaze Minato hopes to represent the will of the 3 generations of Hokage. Inside the cave, Moonlit Knight, Uchiha Fugaku, and a Jonin wearing an Anbu mask arrived with 50 Konoha ninjas. After Namikaze Minato passed the information back, the 3 generations of Hokage immediately issued an emergency summoning order to recall Moonlight Knight, one of the 8 colors of Konoha. At the same time, Uchiha Fugaku, who was originally the captain of the Konoha Guard, was also summoned. 3 generations of Hokage is very simple, since Uchiha Chinyu has opened the special Sharingan. Only Uchiha Fugaku, the contemporary patriarch of the Uchiha clan, is qualified to check it out. The mystery of Ziba Sharingan. Regardless of the fact that this matter is done very carefully, the deployment of large troops. Also, the pass was not broken, so the route led by Danzo also learned of this. He inserted his hand directly and dispatched the ninja at the route. The euphemism is to help guard the pass, but the real idea is unknown. Azuki Kangwu, where is Chinyu, why is he gone? The ninja at the route suddenly spoke up. Uchiha Fugaku's expression was stagnant, and he said, someone has already notified him. I heard that he is with Minato. Let's wait for a while. Uchiha Fugaku, as the chief commander of the Konoha Guard, has some power. Uchiha clan, however, these powers are not given much attention. At least, Anbugen, who is under Danzo's command, has always been hostile to the Uchiha family. Uchiha Chinyu's purpose and identity are not clear, and the importance of this pass is the most important. He left the pass without authorization. This is ignoring our Konoha's safety and playing his duties. The ninja at the route snorted coldly and said, what if he has any intentions and takes our Konoha's important information and takes refuge in a foreign enemy? The expressions of the ninjas present changed drastically. For a village, the most important thing is loyalty. Whether it is the 2nd generation Hokage, or the current high-level Danzo. Uchiha family has always been regarded as the head and the bones. It is for this reason that the gathering place of the Uchiha clan has been crowded out and moved to the edge of Konoha village. The purpose is to beware of the mutiny of the Uchiha clan. Chapter 27 _ Yamanaka Long Yi, what you said seems a bit too much. Uchiha Fugaku frowned. Chinyu and Minato are together, and he is the younger generation that I personally watched and grew up with. He has absolutely no disagreement with Konoha, and he will not leak Konoha's information. Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Chinyu belong to the relationship of uncle and nephew. For a long time, Uchiha Fugaku has not spent any less effort on the cultivation of the Uchiha family. Unfortunately, in his eyes, Uchiha Chinyu was at most an ordinary clansman. If it weren't for the relationship between uncle and nephew, it might not be too much, reminding Namikaze Minato to take care of him at critical moments. But Uchiha Fugaku never imagined that Chinyu would hide so deeply, not only awakening the legendary Mangekyo Sharingan, also has such a powerful pupil power. What's more, it was Chinyu who suddenly showed this kind of unparalleled power. The difference from the mediocrity of the past is too great, and many high-level officials of Konoha have spoken. Among them, Danzo even decided that Chinyu was someone with ulterior motives. Patriarch Fugaku, what you said is from the patriarch's point of view, or as an uncle and nephew, to justify Uchiha Chinyu. Yamanaka Long-Yi snorted coldly and said, if I were you, in order to make things easier it seems more fair. Quote. I advise you to return to Konoha Ninja Village for surveillance and inspection now, and at the same time give up participating in this matter and hand over Chinyu to our route for investigation. If, Uchiha Chinyu, there is really no problem, we will not embarrass him. Uchiha Fugaku looked ashen. This remark is undoubtedly that Danzo intends to cross the 3 generations of Hokage and detain Chinyu in advance. With Danzo's prejudice against the Uchiha clan, Chinyu fell into his hands. Whether he can come back is another matter. Captain Yamanaka, I, Azuki Kangwu, are willing to guarantee my life. Chinyu has absolutely no objection. He not only repelled Kumogakure at the critical moment, but also repelled the intruder from Kurigakure. Azuki Kangwu couldn't help but speak. Road. So, our Konoha ninjas here are willing to use the forehead guard to vouch for Chinyu. Konoha ninjas who were originally stationed in the pass and were rescued by Chinyu all agreed with a solemn expression. The expressions of Uchiha Fugaku and Moonlight Dark Knight also changed. They never imagined that in just 2 or 3 days, Chinyu's prestige would rise to such a level. Damn, are you planning to rebel? Yamanaka Long-Yi snorted coldly. Whether Uchiha Chinyu is guilty or not, that's the matter of the top management of Konoha. You are not qualified to intervene. If it happens again, I will bring you back to Konoha for investigation now. I don't want to hear this kind of talk a second time. Azuki, don't forget your family. You just joined our Konoha ninja village. Don't cause your family to be treated unfairly because of your recklessness. Azuki Kangwu's expression changed. Their family has always had an ally with Konoha. Almost like a mercenary. Unfortunately, due to the constant wars and the sneak attacks of the Avengers, the population of their family gradually dwindled. The combat power is declining, and it is impossible to protect themselves. Eventually he joined the Konoha shinobi village and became one of them. As for the real fighting power, the Azuki family with only 3 or 5 members left, of course the high-level officials of Konoha did not pay attention to it. Moreover, this is a critical moment in wartime. The opening of the 3 major battlefields makes Konoha more urgently in need of combat power. So the addition of Azuki Kangwu, it is logical to become Jonin. Now that Yamanaka Long-Yi opened his mouth, he used his family to threaten, which made Azuki Kangwu instantly powerless. HMPH, what's the matter, can't you talk? Yamanaka Long-Yi snorted coldly and said, now hurry up and escort Uchiha Chinyu back. Before we figure out his purpose, we will be responsible for this matter. Everything is for the safety and stability of Konoha Shinobi Village. As soon as these words came out, even Azuki Kangwu's expression stiffened, regardless of whether it was Uchiha Fugaku. With Yamanaka Long-Yi's approach, he undoubtedly hit 30 big boards without interrogation. Chinyu was directly incriminated. Hee, I didn't expect the roots to be so majestic, just ran 2 chops, and another old chop. A frivolous voice suddenly came from outside the cave. Chinyu strode forward, followed by Namikaze Minato. They were outside, listening to all this, especially Namikaze Minato's complexion, which was extremely blue. When he sent the information back to Konoha Ninja Village, he repeatedly emphasized that he must use the policy of Wairo towards Chinyu. Even if you can't be friends, you can't be enemies. Pity that Namikaze Minato never imagined that Danzo would have to force his way in at this juncture. You bastard, you dare to speak rudely. It seems that you have been lurking in the Konoha Ninja Village for a long time, and you really have ulterior motives. Yamanaka Long-Yi instantly attacked. Go up and catch him. Behind him, the root ninjas under his command rushed out and walked towards Chinyu. Go away. Chinyu gave a cold scolding, and a huge orangutan Yuhi chakra burst out like a frenzy. 4 Anbu ninjas suddenly changed. There was a muffled groan in his mouth, and he took 2 or 3 steps back. Moreover, this breath does not only affect the 4 Anbu. Even the entire cave was filled with this catastrophic force. Feeling this huge breath, whether it is Yamanaka Longyi, even Uchiha Fugaku and Moonlight Dark Knight, their expressions changed drastically. They had guessed how powerful Chin-Yu was. However, the aura that erupted right now was completely beyond their expectations. I never imagined that a boy of 15 or 16 would possess such power. Sure enough, it is the power of Ziba recorded on the stone tablet. Uchiha Fugaku also muttered to himself when his expression changed. The direct awakening of Mangekyo Sharingan, as described by Uchiha Madara, is called Ziba. It means that the pupil power that traces its origin has the opportunity to awaken the chakra eye. However, the powerful pupil power that Chin-Yu exudes now not only has the feeling of being straight, but also has a more ominous smell than the tailed beast. This kind of feeling can only appear when facing Kyubi, 9 tails. Arrogant, we are the captains stationed at the pass this time, you are a Chunin, dare to disrespect us. Yamanaka Longyi's expression also changed. The following is a violation of military discipline and should be taken into custody immediately. Namikaze Minato, Uchiha Fugaku, hurry up and catch Chin-Yu. As soon as it is exported, it is an unwarranted crime. This kind of familiar feeling is undoubtedly a rehearsal. Or rather, Danzo arranged it that way from the start. Chapter 28 No one can save you. Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Fugaku stiffened. This Yamanaka Longyi obviously sees that they have a good relationship with Chin-Yu. This kind of order was specially issued to limit Chin-Yu's resistance. At the same time, there is no need to let his subordinates take action to reduce the casualties of the roots. This is totally a good calculation that kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Hehe, the people at the roots are really shameless. You give me one of the following crimes. Then you sold the information of the stronghold to Yamanaka Kase and Aburame of Kumogakure to take the roots. Did you kill them or hand them over to the 3 generations of Hokage to be punished? Chin-Yu said with a faint smile. Or else, you dealt with the crimes yourself and took them into custody. Of the Konoha ninjas changed drastically. They also heard a little about Yamanaka Kase and Aburame selling out information about the base. Originally, according to their calculations, hundreds of Kumogakure elites, under the leadership of the AB group, had to break through the barrier and kill Uchiha Chin-Yu, but it was an easy task. As long as the people in the stronghold, all died. What they did was unknowable. However, they never imagined that at this juncture, the variable Chin-Yu would appear. Not only has a powerful Sharingan, but also killed hundreds of Kumogakure in seconds, repelling the AB combination. This was reported back to Konoha. It was a shock. Moreover, Kumogakure's next generation Raikage successor, I, obviously suspected that Yamanaka Fung and Aburame took the root and gave him false information, and threw the scroll to Chin-Yu. Of course, if this is really a conspiracy to invite Kun into the urn, it is a great achievement for the root. But I obviously misunderstood the intention of Yamanaka Fung and Aburame to take the root, so he gave the scroll to Chin-Yu. A small questioning voice echoed in the cave. Yamanaka Longyi's expression was ashen, staring at Chin-Yu viciously. He is Yamanaka's father and Danzo's student. This time, he took the initiative to take on this task, just to clean up Yamanaka wind and pour sewage on Chin-Yu's body. I never thought that as soon as Chin-Yu appeared, he went straight to the theme. Looking at Chin-Yu with a fearless face, Yamanaka Longyi snorted coldly and said, just a Chunin, this kind of thing is not yours to take care of. Yamanaka Kase and Aburame take the root, it's the people of our root, who committed something, of course, our root will deal with it. When Namikaze Minato and the others heard the words, their brows couldn't help frowning. Dealing with one's own people, this is no doubt nowhere to be said. Hehe, it seems that what you said is the truth, whether you are a traitor or not, or you have the final say. Chinyu smiled warmly. Since this is the case, should I handle my affairs myself? Kid, what nonsense are you talking about? Yamanaka Longyi shouted sharply. Are you questioning our roots and the fairness of Lord Danzo? This is a big sin to despise the top of Konoha. Come on, let me catch him. The four root ninjas, who were originally out of the crowd, looked at each other and stepped out again. Facing this scene, Chinyu's smile became even wider, and he said, it seems that the one with the bigger fist is the last word. Then don't blame me for being unkind. The voice fell, and the thunder arc on Chinyu's body crackled. The next moment, like a ghost, he disappeared into place out of thin air. Appeared again and had come to Yamanaka Longyi. What a great speed! Whether it was a moonlit night or Uchiha Fugaku, his expression changed drastically. Yamanaka Longyi, who faced Chinyu directly. He did not expect that Chinyu would suddenly attack him under the pressure of such high-level officials. Without any bells and whistles, the probe grabbed his neck instantly. Boy, you are courting death. Yamanaka Longyi shouted angrily. However, he was secretly happy. As long as Chinyu is in front of everyone's eyes, he will take action against him. The trumped-up charges will be fully confirmed. However, when he tried to manipulate his body, his expression changed drastically when he met the pair of blood-like eyes of Yuhi. Can't you move? Chinyu smiled playfully. He had already bound Yamanaka Longyi's body with Sharingan's hypnotic eye properties. If he hadn't deliberately left his consciousness, I'm afraid he would have already sunk into the demonic illusion realm. For a person, there is nothing more terrifying than the inability to control one's own destiny. Uchiha Chinyu, what are you going to do? Hurry up and let me go, I'm on behalf of Lord Danzo. Yamanaka Longyi shouted in a hurry. Chinyu didn't take it to heart and said with a smile, I'm representing myself, you are annoying to me, so go die. Chinyu, be merciful. WDM Minato hurriedly discouraged. Unfortunately, the dark flames suddenly rose and spread over Yamanaka Longyi's body in an instant. The scorching heat, and the heart-piercing pain, helped Yamanaka Longyi break free from the shackles of demonic illusion. Threw Yamanaka Longyi out of the cave with his backhand. Boom! Yamanaka Longyi slammed on the ground hard, and before he had time to think about it, he hurriedly rolled on the ground. Intent to annihilate the black flames on the body. However, all this fell into the eyes of Azuki Kingwu and others, but it seemed pale and powerless. Save me, why can't this flame be extinguished? Hurry up and use Suiten, water style, Grandmaster Suiten, water style, hurry up and save me. Yamanaka Longyi growled hysterically. The four root ninjas looked at each other and performed the Suiten, water style, ninjutsu. Suiten, water style, water fluctuation. Suiten, water style, Suzui Izumi. Suiten, water style, water dragon bullet. Suiten, water style, water whip. Looking at the last two root ninjas, I even used water dragon bullet and water whip. Chinyu was really impulsive and wanted to ask the two of them if they had a grudge against Yamanaka Longyi. However, along with one after another of Suiten, water style, ninjutsu, they fell on Yamanaka Longyi's body. The jet black flame still showed no sign of going out. This strange scene made people feel a chill, rising straight from the soles of the feet. No, Chinyu, you let me go, I'm just doing things for Danzo, this has nothing to do with me, I don't want to die. Yamanaka Longyi was desperate. Struggling to crawl towards Chinyu. Unfortunately, everything seemed pale and weak, and Amaterasu, who was covered in water vapor, burned even more vigorously. Yamanaka Longyi was swallowed up in an instant. With the screams, everyone fell into the ice cellar. Have a deeper understanding of Amaterasu. Unless the Grandmaster seal, or don't let the black flames get close. Otherwise, Once hit, no one can save it. After the screams dissipated, Yamanaka Longyi, who was in the black flame, directly turned into fly ash. The burnt smell that filled the air made people feel like retching at the same time. Looking at Chinyu's eyes, there was a little more awe and horror. Inconsistent words can directly kill the black flame. Moreover, once the shot is taken, there is still no way to rescue it, which is also a despair for other people. As for whether there is still the confidence to provoke, I am afraid the premise is to weigh yourself. Chapter 29 The Unprovocable Existence. Inside the huge cave, there was a burning smell. Everyone looked at the thin figure, and in the depths of their pupils, a trace of inexplicable fear flashed. One move killed Yamanaka Longyi with the strength of Jonin. Such means, at least I am afraid they have cage-level strength. Do you still want to catch me? Chinyu looked at the 4 Anbu-rooted ninjas. The faces of the 4 root ninjas changed dramatically, and they shook their heads quickly. No, we're just following orders. Chinyu, they can't help themselves. Namikaze Minato quickly discouraged. In their eyes, it would be a nightmare if Chinyu started to kill. HMPH, go back and tell Danzo, don't provoke me, go crazy, even I'm afraid. Chinyu snorted coldly. The 4 root ninjas fled as if they were granted amnesty. Minato, hey, I want to chat with Chinyu alone. Uchiha Fugaku suddenly said. Moonlight Dark Knight's expression stagnated, and he stopped talking, but was stopped by Namikaze Minato's probe. Brother Fugaku, it's wartime, be careful. Don't worry, we'll be back soon. Uchiha Fugaku glanced at Namikaze Minato gratefully, then looked at Chinyu. Uncle Fu. Chinyu rolled his eyes helplessly. Of course he knew what Uchiha Fugaku was thinking, and said, let's go out and talk. As Uchiha Fugaku and Chinyu left, the inexplicable depression in the huge cave still did not dissipate. Did you really want to ask me, why didn't you stop it just now? Namikaze Minato looked at the moonlit night. All the Konoha ninjas looked stagnant, and their faces were full of question marks. Moonlight Haya nodded and said, Minato, with your speed and strength, it shouldn't be difficult to rescue Yamanaka Longyi in time. I also want to know, why don't you help? Do you hate Danzo? Political parties in Konoha are divided a lot. However, in the final analysis, there are only the Danzo of the Hawk faction, the 3 generations of the Wairo faction, and the Uchiha clan whose position is uncertain. And Namikaze Minato comes from the 3 generations of Hokage disciple Jiraiya, obviously belong to the same faction. No, Senior Moonlight, you underestimated Chinyu. His strength and talent can be described as terrifying, no matter if the difficulty is A-level or S-level ninjutsu, what kind of attribute changes. As long as he makes a move, it only takes half a day to learn. If you were faced with a teenager with such a terrifying potential, and the roots under Danzo's command, what would you choose? The voice fell, and the expression of the ninja in the field was stagnant. The Moonlight Knight is even more shocked. Senior Moonlight, I hope you don't delay Konoha's major affairs because of some trivial matters. Now is a critical moment in wartime. Any variable will make Konoha fall into a state of doom. Namikaze Minato glanced at Moonlight Hayate. I still heard a little bit about the fact that he held a grudge against Chinyu. Moonlight Dark Knight's face sank, and he said, Minato, I'll be measured. That's best, I'll go out and see. Namikaze Minato dropped those words and turned to leave. Dad, didn't you say, help me teach that Chinyu a lesson, with your strength, it's easy to deal with him. Moonlight Hayate was full of resentment. Shut up, I'm measured in this matter. Moonlight Haya glared at him, then waved to the other ninjas to go down to rest. In the huge cave, only Izuki Kingwu and Anufeng were left. Kingwu, I want to know, your evaluation of that kid. Remember that this is about Konoha's high-level evaluation of Uchiha Chinyu. Moonlight Haya said. Azuki Kangwoo and Anufeng looked at each other and said, "Don't provoke them." The simple answer made the Moonlight Dark Knight feel caught off guard, and subconsciously looked at Anufeng. Don't provoke. The answer of such a withdrawal made the Moonlight and Dark Knight look stagnant. Boom. A violent explosion sounded suddenly in the cave. The next moment, a hurricane swarmed like a tidal wave. The violent scene made Moonlight Haya and the others' faces change drastically, and they hurried away before they had time to think about it. 10,000 meters away, a deserted forest clearing. Uchiha Fugaku followed Shinyu. Looking at the road in front of him, the thin figure, his expression condensed, and disappeared out of thin air. Instant. Uchiha Fugaku suddenly appeared behind Shinyu, and Kuufin flew into his hand and stabbed directly at the back. When Shinyu immediately blocked with his backhand. Uchiha Fugaku's expression changed, he flipped his right foot and kicked Shinyu's head like lightning. At the same time, his right hand touched his waist, and 3 shuriken flew out. For a time, the triple attack completely blocked Shinyu from going up, down, and down. Uncle Fu, your testing is too boring. Shinyu rolled his eyes helplessly. There was a crackling sound on his body, and he immediately entered the chakra mode. Under the flickering violent thunder, Shinyu retreated to a distance of more than 10 meters like a ghost. At the same time, Uchiha Fugaku's right foot attack was instantly missed. The 3 shuriken wrapped around a special metal wire collided with each other and flew towards Shinyu again. Kaden Fire Style Dragon Flame Jutsu. Uchiha Fugaku flew with both hands, and the combat experience was extraordinary. With the hot chakra in his mouth, he followed the steel wire and quickly swept away towards Shinyu. The flaming flames turned into 3 100-meter fire dragons, showing the gesture of Kiba dancing claws. Shinyu, our uncle and nephew haven't played against each other for a long time. Our Uchiha family is best at Kaden Fire Style Ninjutsu. Let me see how far you have improved. Uchiha Fugaku said solemnly. I only know Grand Fireball. Shinyu rolled his eyes helplessly and said, forget it, although the level is 2 levels lower, but let me see, it's better to give up. The inexplicable words made Uchiha Fugaku startled. Hand seal that was flipping like a wheel in Shinyu's hand, his face changed drastically. Do not. It should be said that even the eye sockets are split. Kaden Fire Style Great Fireball Jutsu. The magic seal in Shinyu's hand stopped abruptly, and the hot chakra accumulated in his mouth was instantly swallowed. The heat wave was like a wave, and the flaming flames condensed in an instant, turning into a huge fireball with a diameter of tens of meters. Do not. It should be said that it is the sun. The trees along the way collapsed at the sound, and the 3 fire dragons looked extremely small in front of the sun-like fireball. A short distance of 100 meters, but they collided in the blink of an eye. Boom. The fire dragon was crushed in an instant, and the grand fireball, which was dozens of meters in diameter, only paused slightly. The next moment, with a rolling posture, he attacked Uchiha Fugaku in the air. Also a Kaden Fire Style Ninjutsu, Uchiha Fugaku thought that he was the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, and he had already mastered Kaden Fire Style Ninjutsu. Never thought that Shinyu would use the Grand Fireball to use S-rank ninjutsu as soon as he made his move. Chapter 30 C-level ninjutsu uses the attitude of forbidden technique. The scorching hot air hit the face, making people feel dry mouth. Along the way, the scorched ground collapsed, the scorching heat, and even the rocks melted. Looking at the rapidly expanding fireball in his pupils, Uchiha Fugaku's eyes suddenly widened. Mangekyo Sharingan. A light blue light suddenly appeared on Uchiha Fugaku's body. Illusory skeleton people, quickly condensed. This is Susanoo. Boom. The grand fireball hit Susanoo instantly. The fiery fire wave exploded like a frenzy, sweeping out in a rolling gesture. The trees along the way were broken at the waist, and the flaming flames rose into the sky. The huge explosion power directly covered a radius of 1 kilometer. Fugaku-san, what happened? Namikaze Minato arrived first. Feeling the fiery waves of fire, under the flipping of both hands, the seal of sweetened water style is formed. Sweetened water style, water dragon bullet. Roar. The 3 water dragons condensed out of thin air and smashed directly into the endless sea of fire. The oncoming fire wave was instantly extinguished. At the same time, Uchiha Fugaku burst out in the sea of fire. Mangekyo Sharingan has long since returned to his normal form. Sweetened water style, great waterfall technique. Quote. At the same time as the massive chakra surged out, it instantly drowned the earth in all directions. The fiery fire wave was annihilated directly, and a large amount of water mist was transpired. Futon, wind style, big tornado. Namikaze Minato continued to shoot. As the hurricane rolled over, the mist that shrouded the sky and the earth finally disappeared. Minato, what happened? Moonlight Dark Knight hurriedly arrived. Looking at the charred trees with a radius of 1,000 meters, he said anxiously, "It's not that Chinyu wanted to escape," and displayed some forbidden technique. "Dad, it must be like this. Hurry up and join hands with Lord Minato to catch Chinyu." Moonlight Hayate hurriedly agreed. However, he was quickly startled by the figure falling in front of him. "What's the matter? Are you talking bad about me?" Chinyu glanced at Moonlight Hayate and smiled genially. Moonlight Hayate couldn't help but snorted, took a half step back, stumbled and fell to the ground. "Knight, Minato, don't get me wrong, I just checked Chinyu's strength. The explosion just now was caused by the grand fireball." Uchiha Fugaku fell immediately. The voice fell, and the expressions of everyone present were stagnant, and they looked at the charred trees with a radius of 1,000 meters, and their faces were stunned. "Fugaku, you are wrong. I heard Azuki say that Chinyu knows some forbidden technique. This wide range of attack methods should be done by forbidden technique." Moonlight Haya couldn't help but said. As soon as these words fell, the other ninjas did not speak, but the expressions on their faces had already betrayed them. In their eyes, Great Fireball Jutsu is just AC rank ninjutsu in Kaden fire style. The Uchiha family is the art of the Grandmaster Kaden fire style, which is able to exert the power of Grand Fireball beyond the level. Obviously impossible to achieve this S level, or even the level of forbidden technique. It is indeed the Grand Fireball. I saw it with my own eyes just now, but the Grand Fireball is a bit big, probably about 60 to 70 meters in diameter. Namikaze Minato glanced at Uchiha Fugaku and nodded in agreement. The scene was dead silent. All the Konoha ninjas looked at each other in dismay. Even the Moonlight Knight looked ashen. If someone else said this, they would never believe it. But the man in front of him, Namikaze Minato, said something completely different. A Chunin that uses the power of forbidden technique in AC level Grand Fireball. This make them special Jonin, or even Jonin alive. Okay, if there's nothing wrong, I would like to chat with Chinyu. There's no problem. Uchiha Fugaku didn't think of it at all. It's just a simple test that can cause such a big disturbance. Go on, be careful. Namikaze Minato nodded in agreement. Can we not talk about it? Chinyu rolled his eyes helplessly. However, seeing the stubbornness on Uchiha Fugaku's face, Chinyu had no choice but to turn around and lead the way. Watching the two figures go away, Namikaze Minato glanced at the Moonlit Knight, did not stay any longer, and turned back to the base. Chinyu's strength surpassed his understanding one after another. He wants to report what happened here to the third generation of Hokage as soon as possible. Dad, Moonlight Hayate struggled to get up. Shut up, Moonlight Haya shouted sharply, you can't bear a single look of trash. I'm asking you now, you haven't killed Chinyu, have you? Moonlight Hayate was startled for a moment, then said excitedly, Dad, you haven't arrived yet, how dare I do anything to him? Don't worry, I've thought of a lot of ways. As long as Dad takes action, I'll make him regret offending me. Snapped. A crisp slap sounded suddenly. Moonlight Hayate was stunned, covering her hot cheeks. Shut up, you bastard, I warn you, don't do anything to Chinyu, it will cost the family as well. Moonlight Haya scolded angrily. This time, it seems that the Uchiha clan has a more terrifying existence than Shisui. After these words fell, the expression of the Konoha ninja present changed drastically. If we say that the ninjas in the previous generation of Konoha who are famous in the ninja world are Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Tsunade Sanin. There is also the presence of Konoha 8 colors. Then, the contemporary strength is more outstanding. The one located at the top of the tower is Yellow Flash Namikaze Minato, who is Shisui instantly. Is the existence of Ino Shikacho and others. In Konoha, the rise of a Uchiha Shisui has made many people feel the crisis. Now there is a more terrifying Uchiha Chinyu. I am afraid that the pattern of the entire Konoha ninja village will change. HMPH, you do it for yourself. If you can, even if you can't befriend Uchiha Chinyu, you can't be his enemy. After Moonlight Haya left those words, he turned and left. Moonlight Hayate was stunned. Do not. It should be said that the Konoha ninjas present were no exception. They never imagined that one of the dignified Konoha 8 colors would say such a thing. Thousands of meters away, on a rock, Chinyu stood against the wind, and Uchiha Fugaku stood behind him with a dignified expression on his face. Ask if you have anything, Uncle Fu, don't hesitate. I didn't expect that Uncle Fu would dare to open Mangekyo Sharingan in front of everyone. Uchiha Fugaku's expression froze. He didn't expect that his secret would be instantly revealed by Chinyu. In the Second Ninja World War, after Mangekyo Sharingan was turned on, Uchiha Fugaku has never been used in front of outsiders. He knew very well that this force could protect the Uchiha clan. Will also push the Uchiha clan to extinction. Chapter 31 The Presence of Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Fugaku smiled helplessly when he thought of facing the Grand Fireball like a forbidden technique just now. I thought I was hiding deep enough, but I didn't expect you to hide deeper than me. Not only did you enable Mangekyo Sharingan, but you also have such a superb talent to be able to perform ninjutsu to such a degree. However, there is one thing I want to figure out, and this is about the survival of the Uchiha family. Uchiha Fugaku's misunderstanding. Couldn't catch Uchiha Fugaku's hand and persuaded bitterly that the original Uchiha Chinyu was dead. He came from across, and with the help of the one-click full-level system, I only opened Mangekyo Sharingan for a few days. If this is true, say it. I am afraid that Chinyu is directly regarded as a mental patient. You are asking me, have you seen Uchiha Madara? Chinyu looked at Uchiha Fugaku. At this moment, a look of shock flashed across his face, and his pupils were full of disbelief. Although these changes in expressions were quickly hidden by Uchiha Fugaku, they still could not escape Chinyu's eyes. From Uchiha Fugaku's demeanor change, Chinyu deduced that Uchiha Fugaku did not explain why Uchiha Fugaku opened Mangekyo Sharingan in the original work. I am afraid that most of the reasons come from Uchiha Madara. Perhaps, from the beginning, it was not Uchiha Obito that Uchiha Madara wanted to overthrow Konoha's lone target. Instead it was Uchiha Fugaku. After helping Uchiha Fugaku open Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Fugaku's pupil technique was too powerful, and in the end, the old and frail Uchiha Madara could not control it at all, and finally broke away from his control. Later, Uchiha Madara will transfer the target to Uchiha Obito. Then, step by step, the spearhead of revenge was first directed at the Uchiha family. Let Uchiha Obito team up with Danzo, let Uchiha Itachi carry out genocide. You really know the existence of Uchiha Madara, did your Sharingan also help awaken him? Uchiha Fugaku suddenly became anxious. Chinyu patted Fugaku on the shoulder and said, Uncle, don't worry, my Mangekyo Sharingan was born with awakening, and I don't need his help at all. Also, do you think that if I dare to kill Yamanaka Longyi, I will become that immortal puppet? Looking at Chinyu, neither big nor small, Uchiha Fugaku sighed in relief and secretly relieved. As for Chinyu's domineering behavior just now, even he felt a little prickly. It is indeed impossible for Uchiha Madara to make Chinyu surrender. Chinyu, I'm relieved to hear you say this. I won't ask about you, but don't tell me about Uchiha Madara. That guy is crazy, Uchiha Fugaku said solemnly. However, with your presence, I think he will find you soon, and I hope you will say what you said today. In the eyes of Uchiha Fugaku. Rumored that Uchiha Madara was killed by heavy trauma in the Valley of the Terminator with the original Hokage Senju Hashirama. Afterwards, the first generation of Hokage also suffered from too many old injuries in the body, and eventually died of complications. When Uchiha Fugaku saw Uchiha Madara alive in front of him, his heart was indeed full of shock. But in the face of the temptation of power, he finally got on this boat of no return. Uncle Fu, don't worry, I'm not like your mother-in-law and mother. Chinyu rolled his eyes, looked at the forest below, and said, this world is very big, have you ever thought about leaving Konoha with the Uchiha family? Chinyu, what are you talking about? Uchiha Fugaku was stunned. After taking a quick glance around, he said anxiously, you mean the whole family to defect? This will only completely stimulate contradictions, and any ninja village will never allow it. In the eyes of Uchiha Fugaku, he pinned all his hopes on Namikaze Minato. As long as he becomes the fourth Hokage, with the friendship between him and Namikaze Minato, we'll find ways to ease the relationship between the Konoha and Uchiha clan. Now Chinyu suddenly came up with this idea, in Uchiha Fugaku's eyes, it is very likely to represent the extreme idea of the younger generation. I know that you pin your hopes on Namikaze Minato, but it's better to hold on tight to yourself than to hold the master of your destiny in someone else's hands. Chinyu said lightly. He just accidentally crossed over to this body, and he didn't have deep feelings for the Uchiha family. But I didn't want to die, so I said this. Uchiha Fugaku's expression changed, and he went silent. After a long time, he said, I don't want the Uchiha family to bear the infamy. Chinyu, you are still young and don't know what righteousness is. Is it righteous? Chinyu laughed dryly and said, this thing will crush people. But, you say that, I don't mind my own business, and if the people from Konoha don't provoke me, I don't want to get into trouble. But if he provokes me, don't blame me, don't miss the old feelings. Looking at Chinyu with an indifferent face, Uchiha Fugaku felt a strange feeling in his heart. If it is said, the previous Chinyu gave him the feeling of cowardice and inconspicuousness. So now Chinyu feels like a sharp-edged blade to him. Also, it's a double-edged sword. Okay, let's stop talking nonsense. Chinyu patted Uchiha Fugaku on the shoulder and said, Uncle Fu, as the patriarch, if you have the opportunity, get in touch with Shisui, and he also started Mangekyo Sharingan. Also pay more attention to Itachi. If they can grow up smoothly, they can definitely become the first-class powerhouses in the ninja world. Abandoning these words, Chinyu turned around and left. For a time, Uchiha Fugaku was the only one left on the rock, and fell into silence. If it is said that, just a moment ago, in order to find out the details of Chinyu, he would fight with him. Now it's getting more and more confused. For Uchiha Shisui, he has paid attention. It was also suspected that he was the contact object of Uchiha Madara. But I never imagined that Uchiha Shisui would also open Mangekyo Sharingan at this age. Moreover, Uchiha Madara really ignored the Itachi, who had just shown his edge. Chinyu, who are you? Who are you hiding so deeply, and what are you doing? Is it the position of Konoha Hokage? Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help but mutter to himself. Chinyu and Uchiha Fugaku separated, his brows could not help frowning. Had already expected Uchiha Fugaku's choice. Moreover, the current Uchiha family, it can be said that there are too many worms. Let's not talk about the target of Konoha Shinobi Village, just some of the younger generation have the mentality of thugs. Often with the help of the identity of the garrison, what protection fees are charged, or what misdeeds Madara does. Uchiha Fugaku has been rectified, but unfortunately this is a deep-rooted thinking that has evolved into a bad problem. To a certain extent, it is impossible to change the thinking of some clansmen. Even if Uchiha Fugaku really defected from his family, I am afraid that these people will never miss any chance to take revenge on Konoha. Once that time comes, Konoha will have an excuse to wipe out the Uchiha clan. Chapter 32 The Decision of the Moonlight Knight. Chinyu, are you finished talking? Inside the cave, Namikaze Minato looked at Chinyu, who came back and breathed a sigh of relief. Do not. It should be said that the people present, including Moonlight Dark Knight, also gambled here. Bet on whether Chinyu will defect and leave Konoha Ninja Village. After all, after seeing with his own eyes, Chinyu can even use sea-level ninjutsu as a forbidden technique. Clearly understand the words of the Moonlight Knight. I would rather be a stranger than be an enemy. What's the matter, do you think I'll run away? Chinyu glanced at Namikaze Minato. Don't worry, there is no one in this world that I should be afraid of. Looking at Chinyu, who was full of confidence, these words seemed a bit defiant, but no one dared to refute them. Namikaze Minato shook his head with a wry smile and said, of course I know. However, the attack of Kurigakure and Kumogakure has already been defeated by you, and they will not dare to touch this place in a short time. So, the stronghold will be taken over by Moonlight Dark Knight, and you and I will leave for Konoha Ninja Village. If you have any objections, you can raise them. When the voice fell, everyone's nerves suddenly tightened, and they all looked at Chinyu. Is it the Shinwukun Bridge in an emergency? Chinyu only knew the approximate time of the war, but did not know the details. If it really is the Battle of Shinwukun Bridge in an emergency, that means that the Third Ninja World War is coming to an end. How do you know? Namikaze Minato's expression froze. Guess, do you believe it? Chinyu patted Namikaze Minato on the shoulder. When will we leave? Tomorrow morning. Namikaze Minato heard the words with a relieved expression. They were most worried that at such a sensitive time, Chinyu would misunderstand and call him to Konoha urgently. That's no problem. Chinyu agreed to go back to Konoha. The first purpose was to peep at those forbidden techniques, and the second was that Obito was going to be darkened. Then Rin will soon be the target of Kurigakure village, acting as a human Jinchuriki column force weapon to destroy the peace of Konoha. If it can be used properly, Chinyu will have the opportunity to find Sanwei, tame it and use it as a chakra cash machine. I'm hungry too, let's go out to eat first. Namikaze Minato greeted. The first to leave with a group of ninjas. Chinyu was not far behind, and quickly followed. Dad, do you really want me to go back with Uchiha Chinyu? Moonlight Hayate's face was full of anxiety. Aren't you worried? Did he shoot me in the middle? Thinking of the horror of Uchiha Chinyu, Moonlight Hayate also felt regret in his heart. For the sake of a mere woman, offending an existence that even his father was extremely afraid of. If Chinyu didn't die, it would completely become a nightmare for his whole life. Don't worry, I've already thought of a way. He hid so deeply and defeated Kumogakure and Kurigakure at a critical moment, proving that he still has his heart for Konoha. Moonlight Dark Knight said solemnly. If you sincerely apologize, and I give him the stuff at the bottom of the press box, it should be able to resolve these small frictions. Moonlight Hayate was stunned for a moment, and then said anxiously, Dad, that thing is the key to our family's survival, will it be too much? No, Moonlight Haya shook his head and said, if he accepts it, it will bring opportunities to our Moonlight clan. Also, I have made up my mind. I hope that after this incident, you will not be able to grow up completely, and understand who can be provoked and who can't be provoked. Moonlight Hayate was silent, and after a long time, under the gaze of Moonlight Dark Knight, he nodded in agreement. Let's go, it's not too early, it looks like there's a campfire dinner outside. Outside the stronghold, it was a canyon that was easy to defend and difficult to attack. After 2 world-shattering battles, it was completely razed to the ground. 70 or 80 Konoha ninjas are sitting around here. There was a huge fire in the middle, illuminating the night. The flame jumped with the wind, causing the temperature to rise quite a bit, which seemed a bit depressing. Not much different from the atmosphere in the field. Many Konoha ninjas swept over Chin-Yu's body subconsciously, appearing very restrained. Ahem, I'm nearby, I brought 3 old goats back, let's eat roast lamb tonight. Azuki Kingwu coughed dryly, intending to break the depression in the field. However, looking at the Konoha ninja who were still indifferent, obviously afraid of Chin-Yu, afraid of accidentally touching the scales, the Konoha ninja who kept silent, helplessly laughed bitterly. I'm leaving tomorrow, let me cook you a meal. Namikaze Minato also intentionally split the depressing atmosphere in the field. Just as he stood up, he was stopped by Chin-Yu's probing hand. I have also studied food, let me do it. Chin-Yu patted Namikaze Minato on the shoulder. Under the astonished eyes of everyone, he walked out. As a ninja, it is not difficult to hunt 3 wild sheep. Moreover, one of the long horns was scarred, and it was bent and hovered, showing a mighty posture. It seemed that it was for the food supplement in wartime. Azuki Kingwu didn't even let go of the sheep. Chin-Yu, can you do it? Azuki Kingwu couldn't help asking. Chin-Yu rolled his eyes. Don't ask men if they can do it, men can't do it, women don't like it, who has a chakra knife, lend me a hand. PFF'd. The sound of snickering resounded in many corners of the arena. Namikaze Minato also shook his head and smiled helplessly. Only Azuki Yugao and Shizune, the 2 little girls, looked confused. Dad, what did Chin-Yu mean? Azuki Yugao asked. Azuki Kingwu squinted and said, Little girl, why are you asking so many questions, just stay aside obediently. Seeing how Azuki Kingwu reprimanded, many people who were holding back their laughter immediately burst into laughter. Looking at Chin-Yu, who suddenly broke the atmosphere, Namikaze Minato and Azuki Kingwu looked very surprised. Chin-Yu, I didn't expect you to have a sense of humor. If anyone's chakra knife is the best here, it should be mine. Moonlight Haya came with Moonlight Hayate. Just heard this. Without any hesitation, Moonlight Dark Knight took out the short knife on his thigh with his backhand and threw it out. Chin-Yu, of course, understood what Moonlight Haya was thinking, and did not refuse, but took it back. The chakra knife was pulled out in response, and a light blue blade, under the chakra perfusion, glowed blue fluorescence. However, at the moment when Qin Feng performed the thunder element nature transformation, the arc was as bright as fireworks. This chakra knife is pretty good, Chin-Yu said with a light smile. Moonlight Dark Knight smiled and nodded in agreement, which was the key to breaking the freezing point of the relationship. If you like it, I can give it to you. Chapter 33 Foodie delayed by ninjas. If you like it, I can give it to you. Moonlight Haya stared at Chin-Yu. As soon as these words fell, the expressions of everyone in the field could not help but stagnate. As one of the 8 colors of Konoha, Taking the initiative to surrender his status to please Qin Feng was beyond their expectations. I understand your kindness, everyone is hungry, don't waste time. Qin Yu shook his head and refused. The moonlight and dark night looked stagnant, and his face was a little unbearable. Senior Moonlight, don't mind, Qin Yu has a sharp muscle and a thunder knife in his hands. Your chakra knife is good, but it is difficult to enter Qin Yu's eyes. Azuki Yugao explained in a low voice. Kurigakur's 7 People's Saber. Moonlight Dark Knight was startled, and immediately heard the exclamations in the field. Qin Yu's eyes widened, and Mangekyo Sharingan opened instantly. He grabbed the dead wild goat with his left hand and threw it directly into the air. The short chakra knife held in the right hand, under the flow of electric light, quickly cut away. Everyone just felt dazzled and waited to react. The goat was easily dismembered by Qin Yu. If there is really one word to describe this scene, only the idiom of Peoding Jianiu can do it. In an instant, the 3 sheep turned into pieces of meat of different sizes, and fell into the soup nest with a diameter of 2 or 3 meters like blood. When I saw Azuki Kangwu, I brought back 3 wild goats. Qin Yu decided to make a Chinese gourmet mutton to shock this group of natives who only eat ramen and barbecue. Moreover, the mutton was cut by Qin Yu's thunder and lightning, completely locked in the gravy, and then boiled with blood. It tasted even more delicious. What kind of food is this, cooked in such a strange way? Che, you don't pay attention to the main point. Using the chakra attribute change, and Sharingan to dismember the goat, the gesture is skilled, the speed is extremely fast. This skill is not comparable to ordinary people. This must be a professional butcher delayed by ninjas. Everyone in the field was stunned. Especially Uchiha Fugaku. He never thought that Qin Yu would use the legendary Mangekyo Sharingan as the key to the butcher. If Uchiha Madara knew about it, he might even vomit out old blood. However, when Uchiha Fugaku saw Qin Yu frown, a more absurd idea appeared in his mind. This guy isn't going to use Kaiden fire style. As soon as these words fell, everyone in the field was stunned at first, and they had already seen the magic seal in Qin Yu's hand flying down. Kaiden fire style sparks. The fiery chakra, following Qin Yu's breathing, instantly made the mutton cooked in warm water boil. Of course, if a layman sees this scene, he will definitely be surprised. However, it was a ninja who was present. Facing Qin Yu's precise chakra manipulation ability, he almost split his eyes. If the amount of chakra is too small, the spell will fail. Too much chakra will fry the whole pot of lamb. Now that Qin Yu can just boil the mutton, even Namikaze Minato might not be able to sigh. As soon as the water boiled, Qin Yu poured out the whole pot of blood and immediately added clean water to continue cooking. A handful of plump wild green onions picked from nearby, a handful of Chinese prickly ash, and a pine wood that Qin Yu had already made, covered them directly when the fragrance filled the air. As long as you add a pinch of salt when it comes out of the pot, it will be delicious on earth. Bring me a stone here. Qin Yu motioned. Azuki Kangwu didn't hesitate, and hurriedly brought a large stone with a smooth surface. Watching Qin Yu buried in the fire, when it was burning hot, the goat's fat smeared on it, and the sound of Zilla sounded. The dough that was originally used to make ramen noodles was neatly spread on the stone. As soon as it was scalded before and after, when the sizzling sound of suet sounded, sprinkle a handful of fat onions again. A piece of green onion flatbread is directly completed. At that time, just cut the mutton into slices and eat it in a roll. That's even more delicious. Qin Yu made hundreds of green onion pancakes at once, and it took almost the same time to watch the mutton. The moment the lid was opened, the smell of mutton permeated. For a while, the surroundings were silent. Qin Yu turned around and looked around, only to realize that Azuki Kangwu and the others had their bull's eyes widened, and they came around. sniffing lamb and swallowing saliva against this nest of hands. If he wasn't afraid of where Chinyu was, he would have already rolled up his sleeves and started robbing him. Chinyu rolled his eyes, and after rolling 7 or 8 mutton stuffing, he squeezed out of the crowd under the eye of a tiger. Come on yourselves, I have already demonstrated the method. Chinyu dropped these words. The hungry wolves that were already starving all around suddenly burst into flames. Let me go first, your sister, you pushed me out. Ulan, don't forget, you called me brother, hurry up and give it to me first. Che, in this case, even if you were my mother, I wouldn't let you. No, give me the rest, or I will fight you. In the face of this kind of Chinese cuisine, the aroma of various spices colliding together not only conquered the sense of smell, but also the taste buds. Looking at the chaotic situation, Chinyu shook his head helplessly and came to Azuki Yugao and Shizune's side. Eat it, it tastes good. Hee, it looks like I'm an old man who spoils the atmosphere a bit. We don't have the Minato treatment anymore. Azuki Kangwoo couldn't help but take a few glances and joined the snatch. Chinyu, thank you, I didn't expect you to cook such a different kind of food. It would be a blessing if someone married you. Dog Feng held 2 slices of green onion cake in his mouth and 3 in his hand. Apparently it took a hard fight to get it over. He spoke, he did not forget to wink at Azuki Yugao and Shizune, making the 2 girls' cheeks more yuhi. He had to bow his head and eat silently. Me too. Namikaze Minato looked at the green onion cake that Chinyu handed over, and unexpectedly took it. Chinyu, if you go back to Konoha and open a gourmet restaurant, I'm afraid there will be no Ichiraku ramen. I'm really surprised that you have always been so inconspicuous, and suddenly you have become all-powerful, which makes me a little uncomfortable. For this remark, Uchiha Fugaku also agreed. Chinyu shook his head and said with a smile, is this a hobby? Playing as a pig and eating a tiger is too much, and it should be a dragon eating a tiger. Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help but stare at each other and fell into silence. Since Chinyu was reluctant to reveal too much, they would not ask too much. After a meal, the atmosphere was obviously chatting. Konoha Ninja, who was originally wary of Chinyu, looked at Chinyu with a hint of kindness. This is probably the miracle of Washa's so-called wine table communication. It's getting late, I'll go back to rest first. Chinyu patted the dust on his body and left first. For Chinyu's departure, everyone present nodded in agreement. But no one noticed Moonlight Knight and Moonlight Hayate's departure. Chapter 34 I have learned. The cool breeze in the dark night made people feel an inexplicable chill. Chinyu didn't go back to the cave to rest directly. He turned around and came to the jungle not far away, and stopped abruptly. It's time to come out and meet after we've been with you for so long. 2 figures flashed out in the darkness in response. With the help of Madara's moonlight, it is the Moonlight Knight and the Moonlight Hayate. Sure enough, the blue is better than the blue, so that I can also discover my existence. The Moonlight and the Dark Knight have the ability to escape. In this rare bloodline, he became the most powerful silent killer in Konoha. I thought that I would be able to take advantage of this, but I didn't expect Chinyu to see through it in an instant. You've been courting me in public just now, and now you're following me again. There must be something. Chinyu looked back at Moonlight Hayate. Your Moonlight clan's penetration is good, but how could you not be found by me with this oil bottle? Moonlight Knight smiled helplessly. He is known as the Konoha 8 colors, but compared to him, Moonlight Hayate is indeed a bit far behind. Moreover, compared with the terrifying young man in front of him, it is a world of difference. Chinyu, don't get me wrong, I am following you this time to resolve the grievance between you and Moonlight Hayate. Moonlight Haya said straight to the point. Our Moonlight clan, in addition to having Kekkei Genkai, is best at swordsmanship. Among them, Konoha Sanryu is our family's box-pressing swordsmanship. The outside world compares me to Konoha White Fang Hatake Sakumo because of this sword technique. Chinyu was also a little surprised by Moonlight Haya's actions. However, after possessing the shark muscle and the thunder knife, Chinyu really wanted to learn some knife skills. Otherwise, the forbearance knife fell into Chinyu's hands and only knew how to slash, which was a shame. Originally, Chinyu thought about going back to Konoha and going to Hatake Kakashi to see if there was any way to get Hatake Sakumo's sword technique. Unexpectedly, someone took the initiative to send it to the door. Chinyu, I don't ask for anything. As long as you can protect Moonlight Hayate at a critical moment, the previous matter will be written off, and I will teach you the Konoha Three-Sun Moon Dance. Moonlight Haya said anxiously. Chinyu frowned, glanced at the tense Moonlight Hayate, and said, forget it, I don't want to use a hairy boy to threaten me in return. Looking at Chinyu, who turned around and planned to leave after leaving these words, Moonlight Haya's expression became stagnant, and he hurriedly said, Chinyu, don't misunderstand, this sword technique was planned to be taught to you from the very beginning. Looking at the instant body technique, he appeared in front of him. Still full of urgency in the dark night, Chinyu knew for the first time that this father's love was great. For this little thing, even the family's knives were given away. However, this is also in Chinyu's favor. Chinyu, please accept it, otherwise Hayate will not be at ease for the rest of his life. Moonlight Haya said anxiously. There are only two ways to get revenge with a strong man. Kill the strong man first. The next day I lived in fear, worrying that if this strong man was in a bad mood one day, he remembered this incident and deliberately killed him. What's more, facing Chinyu, Moonlight Hayate obviously only had the first choice left. If you don't want anything delivered to your door, then I respectfully accept it first. Chinyu spread out the scroll with his backhand. Looking at everything recorded above, the sound of the system prompt sounded in my mind. Find out, S-level swordsmanship, Konoha Three-Sun and Moon Dance, whether the host is full level with one click. Full level immediately, Chinyu didn't hesitate. Jingle. Congratulations to the host, Konoha Sanryu is full level. After feeling the memory of Sanryu in his mind, Chinyu put away the scroll and handed it back to the Moonlight Knight. Chinyu, what's wrong? Moonlight Haya couldn't help but startled. In his eyes, Chinyu took the scroll up to now, and it only took a minute or two. You don't think this scroll is fake, do you? When a person takes the initiative to flatter, the most worry is to be misunderstood. Now the Moonlight and Night have this kind of mentality. Even the things at the bottom of the family's box were sent out, if it was more suspicious. This is so frustrating. No, I've already learned it. It's useless for me to keep this scroll, Chinyu said lightly. Looking at the serious Chinyu, Moonlight Haya and Moonlight Hayate couldn't help but be stunned. As a descendant of the Moonlight clan, Moonlight Haya has an extraordinary talent, and it took a year to learn the swordsmanship of Konoha Sanryu. Moonlight Hayate's talent was slightly worse, but it took more than 2 years. However, the two of them are also known as the most talented heirs besides the first-generation patriarch who created the Konoha Sanryu dance. Moonlight Night, one of the 8 colors of Konoha, is also known as the existence that promotes Konoha's 3-day moon dance. They have always been proud of the Konoha Three-Sun Moon Dance. However, as soon as Chinyu opened his mouth, he told them that it took 2 minutes to learn the Konoha Sanryu dance. This is too convincing. Don't believe it, Chinyu said with a light smile. The Moonlight Knight was startled for a while, and then he stubbornly agreed. He taught the Konoha Three-Sun Moon Dance to Chinyu, just to resolve the grievances and forge a good cause by the way. If Chinyu did not learn, all his efforts would be in vain. Moonlight Haya didn't want to provoke Chinyu, but in this case, he could only bite the bullet. In order to avoid hurting people, let's use a branch instead. Chin Yu's right hand probed into the air. 2 3-foot-long branches fell directly into the hands of the two of them. The chakra threads, this is the foundation of the puppet master. Moonlight Dark Knight's expression changed slightly. Once again, he was surprised by Chin Yu's powerful chakra manipulation ability. It's over, let's start. Chin Yu didn't care. Looking at the moment of the moonlit night, I took a step forward. Moon Shadow. Moonlight Dark Knight's expression suddenly changed. Before I could think about it, I turned around and stabbed back. PFF'd. Although what Yugong Haya held in his hand was just an ordinary branch, it fell into his hand like a sharp blade. Along with the sound of breaking the air, there is even more chakra surging. The whistling sound of the wind entwined the branches, enhancing the power of cutting by a few points. At the same time, the branch directly pierced into Chin Yu's body. However, this knife did not splatter with blood, and Chin Yu, who appeared behind him, gradually became distorted and illusory. I'm behind you, the familiar voice sounded again. The complexion of the Moonlight Knight changed dramatically. Sun and Moon Shadow Strike. This is one of the moves in Konoha's 3 Sun Moon Dance. Use afterimages and clones to confuse the enemy and take the lead in attacking. Once there is a mistake, a fake target is attacked. That would be a fatal blow. Originally, in the Moonlight and Dark Knight, I thought Chin Yu was joking. But now it seems that Chin Yu will not only use the Moon Shadow, but also the Sun and Moon Return Shadow Strike. This is completely beyond his knowledge. Chapter 35 Sun and Moon Phantom Slash. The moonlight roared in the dark night, and clenched the branches with both hands, under the chakra infusion. Turn around and stab Chin Yu directly. Attacking together, the light and shadow bloomed immediately, turning into afterimages in the sky, adding an inexplicable depressing atmosphere. Sun Moon Blood Wheel Slash. Chin Yu was not afraid at all. This Sun and Moon Phantom Slash, with the virtual in the real in the virtual, the best way is to break it hard. The moment chakra poured into the branches, it burst into dazzling light, and the next moment it slashed into the Moonlight Knight. With a single blade, it turned into a round moon blade and slashed down towards the afterimage of the sky. Boom! The two attacks collided with each other, and under the wind, the Moonlight and Dark Knight staggered out. Looking at Chin Yu, the Moonlight Dark Knight was full of disbelief. Dad, what he did is really the 3 Sun Moon Dance. Moonlight Hayate asked eagerly. Bastard, as a direct descendant of the Moonlight clan, can't you see it like this? Moonlight Haya scolded angrily. You must practice more after you go back, or you will lose the face of our Moonlight clan. It's okay, I'll go first. Chin Yu threw away half of the branch in his hand. The battle just now was only tentative. Moreover, in order to perform the real 3 Sun Moon Dance sword technique, you also need a good chakra knife. Only with strong chakra conductivity can better chakra agglomeration, as well as attribute changes, enhance the power of swordsmanship. Among them, in the world of ninja, there is the so-called country of iron. They have chakra, but what they developed is not so-called ninjutsu, but how to integrate chakra into swordsmanship. Among them, Mifune of the Iron Country has honed his swordsmanship to a level comparable to other existences at cage level. However, with the successive wars, many so-called samurai were eliminated. Moreover, in the face of the so-called great power struggle, the Iron Country has always maintained the attitude of a neutral country. As a result, there are fewer and fewer samurai, and there are fewer opportunities for the exquisite swordsmanship to spread. You go back first, I also want to guide Hayate. Moonlight Dark Knight did not continue to hold back. Now Chin Yu's talent has far exceeded his imagination. Regardless of whether he has mastered the profound meaning of the 3 Sun Moon Slash, this amazing learning talent is worth betting on. It was only at this moment that he understood why Namikaze Minato, Azuki Kingwu and others valued Chinyu so much. To offend the hero Danzo. Moonlight Senpai, are you alright? Namikaze Minato suddenly appeared. Moonlight Haya, who was very worried, was taken aback, and he shook his head quickly and said, Minato, I have nothing to do, I just want to share my experience with Chinyu. Dad, is this still an exchange of experience? You have taught him Sanryuwu. Moonlight Hayate couldn't help but pouted. However, this can't blame the Moonlight Hayate for breaking the matter. Originally able to practice the Konoha 3 Sun and Moon dance, but very few. Among them, Moonlight Hayate is considered to be the best, and is known as a little genius. Now suddenly a monstrous Chinyu appears, so his so-called little genius halo may be reduced to a green leaf in an instant. Speak up. Moonlight Dark Knight glared at him. Namikaze Minato smiled and shook his head. Senior Moonlight, don't blame Hayate too much, you're betting, it's not wrong. Moonlight Knight couldn't help but startled, and said, Minato, do you also think Uchiha Chinyu's achievements will be very high in the future? No, I don't think so. Namikaze Minato shook his head. Moonlight Knight was stunned for a moment, just when he thought he had made the wrong bet. Namikaze Minato's voice sounded again. I think Uchiha Chinyu didn't show his real strength. Minato, what are you talking about? Moonlight Dark Knight was taken aback. In the information he learned, Uchiha Chinyu defeated Kumogakure and Kurigakure alone. Addition, the AB group was also repelled, and at the same time, it was recognized by the next generation Raikage of Kumogakure village. This is a great honor for any ninja. However, now Namikaze Minato told him that Chinyu was still paddling. This gap is too big. Right now I just hope that Danzo doesn't do something stupid, otherwise we Konoha will probably have a big enemy. Namikaze Minato said with twinkling eyes. In the early morning, when the genius just lit up, Chinyu and his party of 4 left the stronghold. Since Shizune was the only medical ninja in the stronghold, he could not evacuate with Chinyu. However, with Moonlight and Darkness, one of the 8 colors of Konoha, and dozens of new ninjas as background, the defense of the stronghold has been improved by 1 or 2 levels. If you encounter any problems, you can also support Namikaze Minato. It can be said that Namikaze Minato, who knows the art of Hiraishin, is the backing of mobile support. Originally, Azuki Yugao also planned to stay in the stronghold to support Azuki Kingwu. Unfortunately, Azuki Kingwu obviously has selfishness. Not only because of losing the bet, but also because of Chinyu's great potential. Their Azuki family, their status in Konoha is not high. Case, Chinyu really takes power in the future and becomes a big man in Konoha. As Chinyu's woman, Azuki Yugao's status has also risen. Even if he takes 10,000 steps back, with Uchiha and Chinyu alone, the 2 battles have erupted with strong fighting power and a short guarding character. Azuki Yugao became Chinyu's woman, and she would never be mistreated or looked down upon. It was because Azuki Kingwu had this idea. In the stronghold, ninjas with daughters plan to sell their daughters. Last night, he almost knocked on Chin Feng's door. Therefore, Chinyu hurriedly packed up his things and left early as soon as the day lighted up. When Azuki Kingwu sent out the base, he held his shoulders with a look that you know. That appearance and expression, it was as if they wished Chinyu and Azuki Yugao, if something happened on the way, they would return to the village to get raw rice and cook cooked rice. This kind of behavior made Chinyu spit bad. The surname in the Hokage world is precocious. However, looking at Azuki Yugao, who is 12 or 13 years old, it was obvious that his figure was already quite large. Inside Konoha, the huge Hokage office, the 3rd generation of Hokage looked a little gloomy, looked at Kaharu Udatane, and Homura Mitokado, and said solemnly, Danzo violated our agreement and issued an order privately to let Yamanaka Longyi challenge Uchiha Chinyu. Sarutobi, did you get Minato's report? What happened? Homura Mitokado said solemnly. Yamanaka Longyi is in the hands of Danzo. His strength has already reached the level of an elite Jonin, and he is also a grandmaster. Uchiha Chinyu, has it been a loss? Kaharu Udatane showed a rare smile, nodded and said, that kid is hiding too deep. If you can beat him, maybe it's not a bad thing. Chapter 36 Danzo's decision. Kaharu is right. Before Uchiha and Chinyu's purpose is unclear, this kind of beating is inevitable. Danzo will act as the clown. It's the best thing to do. Homura Mitokado nodded in agreement. You bastards, are you all confused? The third Hokage suddenly scolded. Don't forget Minato's report. Try not to turn against Uchiha Chinyu, otherwise he will become our Konoha's #1 enemy. The inexplicable words made Homura Mitokado and Kaharu Udatane look stiff. Sarutobi, what do you mean? What happened to Yamanaka Longyi and Uchiha Chinyu? In their eyes, the 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen have always been peaceful. Emotions have never fluctuated so much, and now there will be monsters when things go wrong. He died, and was instantly killed by Uchiha Chinyu. The 3rd generation Hokage took out a scroll and threw it to Homura Mitokado, saying, "This is the information sent by Minato, you guys have a look first and think of a countermeasure." Yamanaka Longyi was killed by one move. Homura Mitokado's expression changed. Quickly open the scroll and check it out. As time went on, his and Kaharu Udatane's expressions became more and more livid. In their eyes, Yamanaka Longyi is the Grandmaster's heart-turning technique, and in his roots, he has been trained by non-human beings. Prefers to be good at restraint and sensory ninjutsu. If the two fight once, it will be with Yamanaka Longyi's powerful perception ability. You must first notice the opponent's changes and move. However, it is now described on the scroll that Yamanaka Longyi was bound by demonic illusion before he could react, and then burned to ashes by the black flame that could not be extinguished. Although the battle scene, they are not seen before. But just based on the description between the lines, it has already sent chills down their spines. According to Minato's description, Uchiha Chinyu has only shown a certain level of strength until now. Moreover, he has the ability to learn ninjutsu against the sky, which is probably related to his special Sharingan. 3 generations of Hokage said in a deep voice. Minato once mentioned that Uchiha and Chinyu have always hated troublesome things, that's why he made a move against Zhangzhou. This time, he was forced to take action, and he also repelled the large forces of Kumogakure and Kurigakure. Even Tsukazan Fubuki, the shark muscle of the 7-man Kurigakure, and Kurosuke Lake Kiba were also killed. Among us Konoha, only a few people can achieve such a record. Speaking of which, 3 generations of Hokage took a look at Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado. You tell me now how to decide. Homura Mitokado and Kaharu Udatane's expressions changed. Originally, in their eyes, Uchiha Chinyu was just a kid similar to Uchiha Shisui. This kind of person is easy to deal with, as long as you use the family to coerce a little or two, you will do it obediently. However, now Uchiha Chinyu, not only has been lurking for more than 10 years, but also burst out with such a powerful strength. Even Danzo's subordinates dare to kill. This is fearless. HMPH, you guys are really going back the more you live. Danzo suddenly pushed open the office door. Lord Hokage, the 2 guards stationed at the door looked complicated. Go back, I already knew he would come. 3 generations of Hokage waved his hands. In Konoha, Danzo is a special existence, and the route he established is independent of Anbu, a subordinate of Hokage. In a sense, a power structure that does not belong to Hokage. Therefore, Danzo often secretly sends members of the route to monitor the entire Konoha village. Even Hokage's office is no exception. HMPH, Sarutobi, you are really going back as you live, and you can't even deal with a mere brat. I think you are not suitable to be a Hokage and take on this important task. Danzo came over with a cold face. If I hadn't left behind in advance, I'm afraid you have made a decision now, and I don't know. Danzo, don't get me wrong, Sarutobi didn't mean that. Homura Mitokado spoke up to discourage. He knew very well the character of his old classmate. HMPH, Mito, seems that you also think that the idea of the third generation is correct, which really disappoints me. Danzo sneered. Now that Konoha is at stake, all countries dare to step in and bully our Konoha, all because of your cowardly nature. If you had listened to me in the morning and dealt with them with an iron fist, Konoha would not have to open 3 major battlefields at the same time. This. Homura Mitokado looked stunned, shook his head and sighed. Danzo, don't get me wrong, everyone is here for Konoha to be strong, even Sarutobi is no exception. If you have any opinion, feel free to say it, so that we can discuss 1 or 2 things. Danzo, Mito is right. If you have any opinion, feel free to say it and take a look. If it is beneficial to Konoha, I can agree. 3 generations of Hokage said solemnly. Juan Kaharu has not spoken, but his expression has already agreed. HMPH, no need. Danzo snorted coldly and said, since that Uchiha Chinyu has so many variables, it is a scourge for us Konoha. Also, don't forget, if the Uchiha clan knew that there was such a rebellious existence in their clan, it would definitely fuel their arrogance, so I have already sent someone to deal with him. The small voice changed the expressions of the 3 generations of Hokage and others. They were still discussing just now, how to appease Uchiha Chinyu and use it for Konoha Ninja Village. Now Danzo has secretly sent someone to deal with Chinyu. This completely overturned Namikaze Minato's plan. Danzo, are you crazy? You shot Uchiha Chinyu again and again. You are forcing him to defect. 3 generations of Hokage shouted angrily. In case Uchiha Chinyu escaped from the village, with his current strength and record, any village is willing to throw an olive branch and become a sharp blade in the murder of our Konoha ninja village. You are the biggest responsible person. Turning around, Kaharu and Homura Mitokado's expressions changed involuntarily. It was the first time they saw the peaceful Sarutobi Hiruzen, and they were so angry. Moreover, in the eyes of Sarutobi Hiruzen, getting the position of the 3rd generation of Hokage, I owe Danzo in my heart. Why it has been left to the root, this institution that is out of the control of Hokage exists. However, now the 3rd generation of Hokage, but because of the Uchiha Chinyu thing, mad at Danzo. This is enough to explain the importance of the 3 generations of Hokage to Uchiha Chinyu. Danzo, I warn you now, hurry up and bring people back, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. 3 generations of Hokage shouted in a deep voice. Chapter 37 The Poison of Precocious Thought. The huge Hokage office fell into an inexplicable depressing atmosphere. Facing the wrath of the 3 generations of Hokage, Kaharu and Homura Mitokado turned pale. However, in the face of Danzo's private shot, he was also dissatisfied. HMPH, Sarutobi, you really don't have the spirit you used to be. Danzo snorted coldly, his attitude obviously softened a bit. Sarutobi Hiruzen has always been able to see through whatever he does in private. Several times for the position of Hokage, but was still defeated by Sarutobi Hiruzen. If it was on the old love, and the original intention was for Konoha's good, I am afraid that the roots have long since ceased to exist. Don't worry, the people I sent this time are not our Konohas, but some wandering ninjas. No matter what the outcome is, they won't know my identity. Danzo said solemnly. In case of failure, Uchiha Chinyu will only do it, mistakenly thinking that it was done by other ninja villages. After all, recently, his sharpness has been revealed. Those words behind, Danzo turned and left. Looking at the closed office door, the third Hokage couldn't help rubbing his swollen temples. Sarutobi, what are you going to do now? Homura Mitokado couldn't help it. Juan Kaharu still did not speak, just stared at the 3 generations of Hokage. They knew very well that Danzo's words were the biggest compromise. As for the final result, it only depends on the decision of the 3 generations of Hokage. Danzo, this guy is really a headache. 3 generations of Hokage sighed helplessly. Send someone to inform Minato that there are wandering ninjas in the land of fire, and tell them to be careful. The eyes of the 3 generations of Hokage, Danzo's starting point is for the safety of Konoha. What's more, now they just know that Danzo used some means to get in touch with the wandering ninja. Who these wandering ninjas are, no one knows. So it is impossible to stop the wandering ninja. The only way is to notify Namikaze Minato to be more vigilant. If Uchiha Chinyu can come back alive, it is a kind of strength. In case of being assassinated in the middle, it is life. Sarutobi is right, and this is the only way to do it now. Homura Mitokado nodded in agreement. Now our country of fire is in turmoil, and the speed of attack and deployment in the country of earth has also changed. It seems that this tug of war that lasted for 2 years is also ready to end. As long as Minato arrives in Konoha, let him lead his team to the land of the earth for the final mission. Outside world. As soon as Danzo left the Hokage office building, Yamanaka and Aburame took root out of the shadows. Lord Danzo, are things going well? Yamanaka couldn't hold his breath. You must avenge my father. Yamanaka Longyi is Yamanaka Feng's father and Danzo's most powerful subordinate. After hearing that Yamanaka was at risk of being killed at the hands of Uchiha Chinyu, Yamanaka Longyi volunteered to take action, intending to let out a bad breath. It's just that they never imagined that this bad breath not only did not come out, but also lost their lives. Feng, don't worry, the wandering ninja I contacted this time is a small family that has been in decline, and there is a monster that has existed for a long time. If he shoots, no matter how powerful that kid is, he has always been so low-key, must lack a lot of combat experience. Danzo sneered. Yamanaka's expression was stagnant, and he said, Sir Danzo, you mean the monster that has been on the battlefields recently and offered a bounty for assassination. Aburame, who had not spoken for a long time, heard the words, and at this moment, his face changed dramatically. If Danzo really invited that legendary person to take action, then waiting for Uchiha Chinyu is definitely a dead end. Konoha is far from the base, and it will take at least 4 days if he is on the road with all his strength. Because Namikaze Minato was in a hurry, he returned to Konoha to check the battle situation, so he performed the Hiraishin technique in the middle and left early. Although, Namikaze Minato also mentioned that they can be taken away together with the technique of Hiraishin. However, Chinyu refused. The technique of Hiraishin is actually not much different from the space jump of Rinnegan in the later period of Sasuke. However, Sasuke can also open the space door in all directions with the same Rinnegan. Namikaze Minato can only jump with the Hiraishin spell. And with the number of people transferred, the consumption of chakra and mental power will greatly increase. Even the space jump distance will be shortened. Therefore, Chinyu still refused. Chinyu, there is a post station ahead, why don't we rest here? Moonlight Hayate asked weakly. Along the way, Moonlight Hayate kept a distance from Chinyu at all times. But it was indeed a bit overwhelming for him to travel for days, even though it was only 20 miles away from Konoha. Still can't resist making this suggestion. Chinyu, it's already close to Konoha's warning position, why don't you take a rest for a while? Azuki Yugao wiped the sweat from his forehead, showing a hint of tiredness. If Azuki Kingwu knew, he desperately wanted to let Azuki Yugao and Chinyu happen to unknown things on the way back. All the time was spent on the journey, so I'm afraid I don't know what to expect. Chinyu stopped first and landed in front of the inn, looking at the caravan inside with a playful smile. Come on, it's very lively here, maybe there are some unexpected surprises. The inexplicable words made Azuki Yugao startled, but Moonlight Hayate had already run in. Boss, hurry up and give me a pot of tea and 3 meatballs. As soon as Moonlight Hayate said the words, he remembered this moonlight night, but let him focus on Uchiha Chinyu. Uchiha Chinyu, who walked in quickly, he hurriedly said, I'm calling for you guys. Looking at the shriveled Moonlight Hayate, Chinyu shook his head with a smile and said, You can eat this, I'm not hungry. Guest, tea and balls are here. An old man with a dry face came out of the kitchen. This young man, I advise you to try it. The meatballs from our post station, the caravans from the past, but no matter how far apart they are, they will come and visit. If you try it once, you will definitely come back in the future. It really tastes so good, it's the first time I've heard of it. Azuki Yugao's eyes lit up. Pervert is Chinyu, and this is the first time they have gone on a long-distance mission. After this long journey, my stomach is already beating. Now that I heard the old man brag so much, I couldn't help but pick up the ball and stuff it into my mouth. Okay, don't eat this ball, everyone is watching you. Chinyu suddenly grabbed Azuki Yugao's hand. The sudden action made Azuki Yugao stunned for a while, and then Yuhi's cheeks rose involuntarily, and said, There are many people here in Chinyu, hurry up and take your hands back. Azuki Yugao with the look of a little girl, Chinyu turned over Byakugan helplessly. The speed of this thinking is too fast. It seems that the precocious thinking of the Hokage world is poisonous. Chapter 38 The Assassin Covered in Copper Smells. Go! A loud shout suddenly sounded. The shop owner, who was originally withered, became extremely sharp in the next moment, and went straight to Azuki Yugao to catch him. Azuki Yugao was stunned. She never thought that the old man in front of her would be hidden so deeply. At such a close distance, there is no way to hide. When the old man saw this scene, his face was filled with joy. In his eyes, as long as one hostage is captured, then, it is not difficult at all to deal with 2 young chunin. Recurrent violence. The crackling thunder arc sounded suddenly. The fist wrapped around Li Guang seemed to explode even the air. Boom. The old man was directly smashed hundreds of meters away. Everywhere along the way, whether it is a wooden board or a big tree, it was broken by the middle. When he hit a rock wall and barely stopped his figure, he opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood, tilted his head and died. Inside the inn, more than a dozen merchants who wanted to start violently, looked sluggish. The intelligence and tasks they got were only to deal with the 3 chunin of Konoha. Among them, even the frightening yellow flash Namikaze Minato left early. In their eyes, this task is a sweet pastry. Patriarch, who is he? It seems to be different from the information. A wandering ninja couldn't hold back. The one who took the lead was a middle-aged man dressed as a businessman, looking at Chinyu with a hint of yin eagle. HMPH, just a little faster. Don't forget, this time we all came out. As long as we take off this kid's head, the reward we get is enough for us to survive the war. Our family is fighting for survival. Yes, we are fighting to survive. More than a dozen wandering ninjas instantly agreed. Leader of the wandering ninja, staring at Chinyu, shouted sharply, Let's fight quickly, don't let that guy take a step ahead of us and get a reward. Thinking of which guy with the smell of money and danger, the leader of the wandering ninja, his spine is still chilled. Looks like there's another amazing person here. Chinyu smiled genially. Since you're not the main course, you're not qualified to keep it for questioning. When the voice fell, the floor under Chin-Yu's feet cracked. The next moment, it disappeared out of thin air like a ghost, and reappeared before the leader of the wandering ninja. Rasengan. This is Chin-Yu's weakest attack right now. Under the chakra infusion, it was instantly rolled into a ball. Without any bells and whistles, he smashed the wandering ninja head-on. Do not. The pupils of the wandering ninja leader suddenly shrank. This was completely different from the Chunin he knew. Boom. The moment Rasengan fell, the leader of the wandering ninja hurriedly raised his defensive hands and broke them. The huge impact caused him to be thrown out. It smashed the beam directly, and smashed it on the big tree 100 meters away. Even worse than the wandering ninja who pretended to be an old man, he couldn't even spit out blood. His entire chest was sunken, and he died of breathlessness. Dead, the patriarch actually died. Escape, let's escape quickly, otherwise our Fengmo clan will be exterminated. A terrified roar resounded from the field. The wandering ninjas who were present didn't have time to think about it, they just scattered and fled. Chin-Yu, hurry up and chase. These wandering ninjas dare to commit murder outside Konoha village. If they encounter other people whose strength is inferior to you, it will be unfortunate. Azuki Yugao was anxious. After being frightened just now, she quickly regained her senses, took out the chakra knife, and stood on guard. She was not surprised that the leader of the wandering ninja was instantly killed by Chin-Yu. Chin-Yu, you go, I will help you protect Yugao. Moonlight Hayate expressed his position in a hurry. This is a good opportunity to take credit. However, seeing Moonlight Hayate's legs that were shaking like twists and turns, the confidence in these words obviously became a little insufficient. No need, they can't leave. Chin-Yu looked at the forest not far away lightly. As the leader of the wandering ninjas said just now, this time, a difficult character came. Ah! The screams suddenly sounded. Azuki Yugao's expression changed, and he said, Chin-Yu, did Lord Minato come here? In the eyes of Azuki Yugao, Namikaze Minato possesses the art of Hiraishin. This is still the outskirts of Konoha village, and there are inevitably Anbu or sentinels patrolling nearby. The sound of the battle just now was enough to startle Konoha. As soon as Namikaze Minato learns of the situation here, Namikaze Minato will be able to arrive with a Hiraishin technique in just a few miles. What is that? Moonlight Hayate's expression changed dramatically. However, before he could react, Chin-Yu's right foot struck the Moonlight Hayate like lightning. At the same time, Chin-Yu took Azuki Yugao into his arms and hurriedly dodged to his side. Boom! The place where the three stood was instantly pierced. The soil flew down, and the two arms connected by the black meridians were directly caught empty. Chin-Yu and Azuki Yugao landed 7 or 8 meters away, and Moonlight Hayate obviously did not have this kind of personal service. He smashed directly outside the inn, and when he saw the strange hands emerging from the soil, his expression turned pale. If Chin-Yu hadn't shot in time just now, he might have already fallen into this big hand. Sure enough, it's you, the copper stinking guy. Chin-Yu looked into the forest. The two hands sticking out of the soil suddenly tightened, and they opened the soil directly, showing them in the eyes of everyone. A figure shrouded in a cloak, whose appearance could not be seen clearly, walked slowly out of the forest. However, as soon as he walked out of the forest, behind him, Zhang Kiba's black blood vessels with claws, each with a corpse hanging on it. These are the wandering ninjas who escaped just now. Chin-Yu, who is this person? Isn't he too scary? Azuki Yugao's face turned pale. If the wandering ninja who appeared just now is an ordinary enemy, then the person in front of him is pervert. Moreover, the 17 or 18 wandering ninjas who escaped were instantly killed. This kind of record is not something that ordinary ninjas can achieve. Have you heard of Taki Ninja Village? Chinyu looked at the enemy in front of him thoughtfully. He never imagined that it was not long before he came to the world of Hokage. Met Kakuzu, a member of Akatsuki in the future. Taki Ninja Village. Azuki Yugao was stunned for a moment, and said, I heard that there was a rebellion in Taki Ninja Village 20 or 30 years ago. The originally powerful Taki Ninja Village was slaughtered overnight, and finally declined, hiding in a waterfall. After that, rest and rest. Quote. Chapter 39 Let's make a bet. Is it the Taki Ninja Village that has the allocation of tailed beasts? Moonlight Hayate was also surprised. With a livid expression, he couldn't help but say, Chinyu, you won't tell me that he is the missing nin who slaughtered high-level officials. Yes. Chinyu nodded with a smile and said, I didn't expect to meet you so soon, Kakuzu. Words fell. Azuki Yugao and Moonlight Hayate turned pale. Level missing nin that almost wiped out the village. Terms of strength, it is comparable to cage level. All along, no matter how hard the 5 great ninja villages work hard. For S-level missing nin, it is always difficult to catch. However, now there is one in front of them. This is not a nightmare, or what? Chinyu, are we going to escape? Moonlight Hayate was anxious. It's only a few miles away from Konoha. As long as we hold our strength, we should be able to get back to the sealed gate soon. At that time, the people stationed will support us. Facing the origin of Kakuzu, Moonlight Hayate's fighting spirit disappeared in an instant. Hayate, shut up for me. Azuki Yugao scolded coldly, looked at Chinyu who was still smiling, and said solemnly, don't grow other people's ambition and destroy Chinyu's prestige. Look at Chinyu's expression, he doesn't even have the slightest bit of fear. It's hard to say that he can deal with this S-rank missing nin. Why is this S-level missing nin staring at us? Moonlight Hayate, Azuki Yugao, as a little girl, has a more careful mind. Since Chinyu called the man in front of him, he was a bounty hunter covered in copper smell. The wandering ninja family just now also put their bounty on their lips. Does this mean that they are being offered a bounty? Chinyu, are we being targeted? Azuki Yugao said anxiously. Chinyu smiled and patted her shoulder. It seems that you are not stupid. We have been offered a reward, and the person who started it is really big, and it takes at least 20 to 30 million taels for Kakuzu to make a shot. What? The expressions of Azuki Yugao and Moonlight Hayate changed abruptly. When they become ninjas, it is about 100 taels a month. After a year, there are 2,000 or 3,000 taels, which is already very good. Now, according to Chinyu's guess, a reward of 20 to 30 million taels can be offered. The person who issued the assassination order is definitely not an ordinary person. Chinyu, you mean, in Konoha village, someone wants to kill us? Azuki Yugao couldn't help but probe. The past few days, nothing happened to Azuki Yugao and Chinyu. However, in the face of Chinyu's doting, no matter what the relationship was, Azuki Yugao couldn't help but care. It was killing me, you are just implicated. Chinyu said with a light smile. If you are afraid, you can go first, he will not chase you, your lives are worthless. Looking at Chinyu who was still thinking about joking at such a time, Azuki Yugao glared at him and said stubbornly, Chinyu, I won't leave, I believe you will be able to defeat him. Hayate, are you right? Moonlight Hayate just had the intention to retreat, and before he could react, he heard these words. Facing the gaze of Azuki Yugao, he nodded bitterly. Boy, are you finished? Kakuzu raised his head suddenly after absorbing the chakra of these wandering ninjas. Not only did those black blood vessels not close up, but Kiba danced like claws, which looked shocking. Kakuzu, you are still covered in copper stench, why don't we take a gamble? If you win, I will give you the head on my item. If I win, you will become my subordinate. Chinyu said with a smile. This bet is very cost-effective. You can kill me if you win, but you don't have to die when I win, and you can still be my subordinate. Don't you feel honored? The low voice made Azuki Yugao and Moonlight Hayate bewildered. Is this the rhythm of recruiting an S-rank missing nin? Once it got out, it would be too shocking. Boy, you can really say with your mouth, it's been a long time since I met an interesting kid like you. Kakuzu untied his cloak, revealing his body as if it were connected, with black blood vessels exposed, and more. It looks disgusting. Especially when spit out from the mouth, the blood vessels like a straw, like the tongue of a poisonous snake, add a few points of inexplicable depression. Looking at Chinyu, who always looked the same, Kakuzu smiled grimly and said, I didn't expect that you little brat, seeing me like this, still looks the same. I agreed to the bet you made just now. I very much hope that you will be my bounty, and I hope you can support me with 4 or 5 more moves, otherwise I will be bored. The rise of Chinyu was only a short period of 7 or 8 days. Even the people in Konoha Ninja Village don't know everything, let alone a wandering ninja like Kakuzu. What's more, in Kakuzu's eyes, what a big wave can a mere Konoha Chunin turn over? Don't worry, I will make you hurt and happy. Chinyu suddenly laughed. Kakuzu's expression sank, and looking at the pressure on him, Chinyu, who seemed not to care, completely wiped out the last trace of patience, and shouted coldly. Boy, I hope you can wait a while and still laugh. Raiden Thunder Style, Dark Thunder. Kakuzu's back immediately flew out a Raiden Thunder Style mask, opening his mouth. One after another thunder lights splashed, like a frenzy, smashing out towards Chinyu. You step back, the battle is about to end, Chinyu said with a light smile. The expressions of Azuki Yugao and Moonlight Hayate changed drastically, and they hurriedly retreated without thinking about it. They had seen Chinyu's methods with their own eyes. Dare to say such a thing now, it is definitely not a boast. However, when I think about this one, it is an S-level missing nin. They have confidence in Chinyu's strength, but whether they can solve the battle so quickly is probably another matter. While speaking, the short distance of tens of meters was only a blink of an eye under the attack of the Dark Thunder. After Azuki Yugao and Moonlight Hayate stood firm, the incoming attack had already landed on Chinyu. Boom! The thunder light exploded, like a thunderbolt across the sky. Everything in the inn was smashed by the violent thunder arc in response to the sound, stirring up a large piece of sand and dust. You bastard, dare to underestimate me, I will make you die faster today. Kakuzu snorted coldly. Kaden Fire Style mask on the back appeared instantly. Kaden Fire Style head hard. A sea of fiery flames gushed out of his mouth. After absorbing the chakras of more than a dozen wandering ninjas just now, the range of the sea of fire obviously reached 20 to 30 meters. It directly enveloped the entire station. However, it was not until Kakuzu reacted. Sea of fire suddenly turned like a uzumaki. The next moment, the flames that filled the sky were blown away. Chapter 40 solved by 2 meatballs. Buzz. A sharp, piercing air chirping sounded suddenly. Looking at Chinyu, who walked out slowly in the remaining sea of fire. Futon Wind Style Rasengan Shuriken that spins rapidly like a small comet. Kakuzu's face changed drastically. What exactly is Futon Wind Style Ninjutsu? It can change the form and attributes to such a degree. Never get hit, or I'm afraid I'll die. Chaotic thoughts flashed in Kakuzu's mind. But looking at Chinyu, a trace of greed flashed in his eyes. In these chakras, he felt a strange purity, if he could take his heart for himself. Is it possible to use this to learn this powerful ninjutsu? The idea of greed has just emerged. The next moment, Kakuzu's pupils shrank suddenly. The ground Chinyu was standing on suddenly cracked and sank like a spider web. Kakuzu just felt a flower in front of him, and a thunderlight had already hit the sky. When I saw it clearly again, the attack was close at hand. Your ball delivery has arrived, please sign for it. Chinyu smiled playfully. The futon wind style Rasengan shuriken in his hand smashed directly into Kakuzu's chest. There was a stagnation in the sharp air vibration. The next moment, a powerful hurricane force erupted. At the moment when the piercing sound of the sonic boom reverberated, the air wave that swept away was soaring into the sky. Everything within a radius of 100 meters, whether it was a rock or a tree, was smashed into pieces in an instant. At this moment, Kakuzu felt like he was being cut by countless sharp blades. If it weren't for the Doden Earth-style heart to strengthen his body's defenses, ordinary attacks would not be able to penetrate at all. I'm afraid he is dead now. Now he only needs to give up one heart, survive this wave of attacks, and then wait for an opportunity to sneak attack under suspended animation. In this kind of surprise, behead this weird kid. However, this idea had just sprouted in his mind, and the next moment he entered the scene, Kakuzu almost opened his mouth and vomited blood. Looking at the balls in Chinyu's hands, his scalp was numb. A futon wind style Rasengan who has made him doubt life. Also comes a Raiden thunder style Rasengan shuriken. Then his Doden earth style body may not be able to resist at all. What's more, now that he was under attack, he couldn't move at all, and he was completely reduced to a target. In the face of his own suspended animation, Chinyu still had to whip the corpse, this cautious and unexpected powerful method. Let Kakuzu doubt for the first time that he is covered in copper stench, is it wrong? No, don't kill me, did you forget our bet? I can surrender to your command. Kakuzu hurriedly woke up in suspended animation. Chinyu said with a playful smile, now it's up to me to call the shots. Try the Raiden Thunder Style meatballs. Quote. Raiden Thunder Style Rasengan shuriken like a thunderball. Do not. Kakuzu let out a strange cry. Raiden Thunder Style Rasengan shuriken collided with futon wind style. Like a frenzy, the thunder light directly drowned Kakuzu. Kakuzu's body like countless needles. Under the change of Rex Earth control attributes, Kakuzu's defense is completely useless. Boom. The sound of thunder and explosion lasted for more than half a minute before being annihilated between heaven and earth. Looking at the devastated ruins, laying a body full of holes, like a rag. Moonlight Hayate and Azuki Yugao were dumbfounded. Is this still the scary S-class missing nin? Or is it the one who slaughtered all the high-level executives of Taki Ninja Village? As soon as he appeared, he played two ninjutsu, and was directly solved by Chinyu's two balls. This is too shocking. Boy, you don't keep your promise. Kakuzu looked up with difficulty in the rubble. The four masks behind him have collapsed, proving that he survived the two balls just now and directly ruined his 4 lives. Moreover, even the last mask had a crack. If the attack just now, continue for another 7 or 8 seconds. I'm afraid, Kakuzu has come to an end in the ninja world. What's the matter, are you still not giving up? Chinyu smiled warmly. Kakuzu's expression froze, and then he roared angrily. Boy, you die for me. The soil under Chinyu's feet opened in an instant, and there were thousands of blood vessels formed by both arms. Like countless shots, he stabbed Chinyu directly. The attack is close at hand, and it is still overwhelming, giving people a feeling that there is no way to hide. However, in the face of all this, Chinyu didn't seem to care about it at all, and the smile on his face became even more prosperous. A blood-colored illusory body instantly enveloped the body. Thousands of blood vessels, like rain hitting plantains. Directly by Susano. Looking at this sudden appearance, it was like a godlike figure. Kakuzu's expression froze. By the way, I still have Suiten water style, Doden earth style, and Kaden fire style balls. I haven't rolled them yet. Do you need to try them? Chinyu smiled playfully. If Danzo saw it, he had high hopes that the ace who could kill Chinyu would be teased like a baby. I am afraid that, like Kakuzu, he even has a heart to die. No, you killed me, you killed me. Kakuzu roared grimly. Danzo, I've known for a long time that you're not doing well. Azuki Yugao and Moonlight Hayate couldn't help but startled. They had also guessed that this assassination was related to Konoha. But it is also possible that the villages of Kurigakure and Kumogakure suffered a big loss in Chinyu's hands. Deliberately offering a reward in the black market for Kakuzu to assassinate. However, now that Kakuzu broke it himself, everything is different. Killing from the outside world, no matter who it is. They are absolutely not afraid. But the current assassination, but from Konoha. This is a knife in the back. Where does it not make people feel cold? Hee, tell everything, isn't that a good boy? Chinyu laughed dryly and said, don't worry, I won't kill you. You are a rare strong man. If this ninja world lacks you, it will also lose a lot of color, and I like your true temperament covered in copper. Susanoo shrouded in Chinyu's body instantly dissipated. For the thousands of blood vessels that are still staring at the outside world, it seems that they have not paid attention to it. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? Kakuzu couldn't help asking. Chinyu smiled playfully and said, isn't this basic trust? Or, I don't think you can kill me. Kakuzu's expression froze. If someone else said this, he would definitely not be convinced. But after seeing Chinyu's powerful means with his own eyes, the dignified level missing nin was defeated by 2 balls. This is a complete nightmare. I admit defeat. Kakuzu gave this answer after holding back for a long time. Those blood vessels lurking in the soil were quickly recovered. Looking at the dignified rank missing nin, he really opened his mouth to surrender, and Moonlight Hayate and Azuki Yugao froze in place. From assassination to surrender, the gap is too big.